I'm in a bad mood, but I actually think this game's going to be the antidote to that. So, the catch is that we have been having some trouble with quality options on Twitch. Hey, we got him back. Okay. So, it's actually one of the reasons why I switched up games tonight was this one was I felt going to be a little bit more forgiving for quality problems, but it seems like we didn't have those. And then it was a municipal election today. I'll talk a little bit about that, but the reason I don't know, I'm in a bad mood because of what happened. It was very disorganized there, so it probably took me about 15 minutes to go to the. I walk everywhere, so like that's not a big deal. But 15 minutes to get to the polling place, totally fine. Lineup just streaming out the door, and clearly they were not organized. Like I actually can't see any infrastructure that was all that different from the provincial election, which is even more annoying. But for whatever reason, they just took forever to process the lineup and had the gall to get. I just opened up some chess problems and then Grindstone and had the gall to like no cell phone use in the voting area. And I'm like, I am about to live stream this if you keep on this time. I get that they're just doing their job, but it's like maybe don't you know having a dedicated person to tell someone off for doing something offline on their phone when clearly the line is not being processed in time is a little. I question the the value of the priority. Maybe I just don't like being told off, which is me being a jerk. But um, yeah, I don't know. Like the thing is, okay. Actually, I'll talk about voting very briefly, and then we can move on. I so if I forgot about a date, then sort of I wouldn't know. But so far as I can tell, since I have been able to vote, I have always voted in every municipal, provincial, and federal election. I usually even wind up voting in by-elections. And I've always been a little bit bugged by the way of advocating for voting that sort of turns you into the main character. Um, because I'm really not under any illusion that my vote was pivotal to any election that I've ever voted in. I think there's a lot of other reasons to vote other than that. I kind of think that if you sort of want to be that dictator of the marginal voter, I would maybe question, your commitment to democracy. But yeah, like the fact of the matter is that I don't think any election I've ever voted in, my votes made a lick of difference. But I still think it's worth doing. Sort of the same reason I don't litter, and you know, I don't exactly help old ladies across the street, but like when I'm going into my apartment, if I see that one of the more elderly tenants is bringing in some bags, I'll offer to open the door for them or something like that. But again, so it's yeah. So Algren's like, I'm not gonna. For me, I definitely don't take the view that it doesn't matter. It's more that I recognize it is the collective behavior of people, and it is essentially everyone sort of acting or thinking the way that I do. That makes the system work, as opposed to the usual way that I think people try to argue for. I'm sorry, I should have slightly changed the tag here. Um, yeah, like the idea for me at least is less about trying to convince someone like they're the most important one. Every vote counts this time around. It's the most important election of our lifetimes, which you hear like 4 or 5 years running. Um, well, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Algrins, the question of money in politics has been studied very well. I mean, surely the presidential campaign of Michael Bloomberg has at least complicated the views of money's influence on politics. I'm certainly not going to say that it's irrelevant, but I do think that there tends to be some very I do think there tends to be some very sort of shorthanded, I think there tends to be some intellectual shorthands that people use that are not helpful for those kinds of discussions. And I think, one of the big problems with identifying some of this stuff is that a candidate who has good traits as a candidate, like ones that are not related to finance, also are good fundraisers, right? The type of person you'd vote for is probably also the type of person that you donate to the campaign for. But I get, it's a popular view. And certainly your context would be the United States, which has, the Citizens United ruling. And there's just simply so much more money that gets spent. But I don't know, like I'm not quite ready to write off the American experiment, as perhaps many Americans are. Yeah, but I mean, Bloomberg's campaign effectively is reduced down to a Jeopardy question now, right? What is, um, and to take the reductive view that it's only the money that's going to make the difference on this, I think probably is running counter to, not just theory, but the actual experience. Like I the idea that Bloomberg's wealth was not sufficient, like if that it would have turned out differently had he just spent more money, I think is I think there's a few more steps that you need to do before you can really sell that argument. But this was not exactly what I was planning on talking about. More so for me is the much more practical side of things, which is that I've been pretty lucky in terms of most of the voting that I do. It's usually been a very efficient process, in terms of, I walk in, show them my ID, you know, mark my ballot, put it through the machine, and it's ready to go. And again, this is like the infrastructure is in place for all of this. And I understand that this municipal election is a fairly hotly contested one, but I really just sort of feel like this is a case where the organizers just simply dropped the ball. But um, the I think one of the big ones for me is that I'm sort of conscious of how fragile people's attachment to the process of voting. So like I said, like my ideal is not that I'm going to become the main character of Ottawa and be the one who cast the deciding vote. And I think that's probably not a good way of. I think that's probably not a very good way of instilling a sense of duty or civic responsibility or however you want to sort of justify it. But because essentially my argument is more or less, you do it because it's the right thing. Or, again, it's like littering, right? If everybody just sort of takes care of their own mess, then we all have a nicer city to live in, and we don't have to, we just don't have to see the eyesores, and we don't have to keep like stepping on each other's gum and stuff like that. Um, I think most people are actually probably in line with thinking like that, but there's also a limit in terms of how much someone's willing to, how much inconvenience they're willing to take on in order to do something good like that. So I don't think most people are willing to become a martyr. And that's actually one reason why when I see really long lineups for voting and things like that, it becomes a big problem, just because again, if your attachment to the institution is somewhat tenuous to begin with, and you start feeling like it's a waste of time, there's something that's lost in that. And I'm certainly not a libertarian. I do not have this cute view of the world that if only we just thought more about ourselves, everything would be good. So that's kind of why I was annoyed by it. But I'm going to be playing Two Point Campus. It's just there's wonderful music for this, so I wanted to hit the play button when everybody's or like when I'm done ranting, and then we can enjoy it. I really love Terra Invicta, and I'm looking forward to doing that. We'll get to that next week, but I'm just really, hey Vanguard, how you doing? Um, I'm just kind of at a bit of a low ebb right now, and I will confess that the polling place did kind of um, really did put me on the wrong foot, and so I kind of decided that I needed something that I could relax a little bit more with. And again, I love Terra Invicta, but it's one where I'm going to be making some rather consequential choices, and it requires a lot of my attention. So in the case of Two Point Campus, I feel like this is something that actually takes me to a happy place. And it's kind of what I need after a fairly tough week of work. I also just did a lot of I tried to do some video editing on the weekend, and I wound up walking something like 40 kilometers over 2 days. It was preposterous. So yeah, municipal elections for Ottawa. So the long-serving mayor is out. It's fairly. I think we had something like 11 candidates for mayor. Obviously, two credible ones, but we're voting. I'll maybe see the results while I'm streaming, but I'm not going to do a live stream showing all the excitement. I also voted for school board, even though it will not make the slightest difference to me. I don't care if these people in Ottawa are uneducated. This should be music. I'm playing this on Game Pass, so there we go. All right, so I've been playing a little bit of this on my own time. Logged out. Second, let me see if I can find that password. I've obviously done an update for Halloween. I never would have guessed that one. I'm so happy to use a password manager, but I am jumping between oh, you definitely, both it and 2 Point Hospital are a lot of fun. But yeah, so I've spent a little time in this, but we're going to start with a new game. So I think this gives you an idea what the tone is. And I'm Albert Crank, your own personal advisor, and I'm here to help. You may not have any experience as a campus administrator, but the people at Freshley County College are eager to give you a chance. I'm not sure what that says about them, but hey, let's head to Freshley Meadows and get started on your academic empire. So, I'll say Algorins. Actually, for any of you who have either Microsoft Game Pass or EA Play. So EA Play 2 Point Hospital, the predecessor to this, is available on that service. On Game Pass, I believe you will get both 2 Point Hospital and 2 Point Campus. So far as I can tell, 2 Point Hospital is sort of a modern take on an old Bullfrog game called Theme Hospital. which I do have on GOG, but I figured I might as well play something a little more modern. um, but one thing I just kind of wanted to say about this, there's someone who I feel like is a bit of a name online who I don't know. I think they kind of knew how much I like school, and I was sort of ranting. I actually kind of felt bad because it felt like I was giving them a play-by-play. As I was playing this game, but like I was so charmed by this game, and then I found out after the fact that they were actually playing a little of it too. So I got to feel a little bit better about nerding out about this, but. There's a couple things that I wanted to say in terms of setting up and why I really particularly like 2 Point Campus as opposed to 2 Point Hospital. I mean, it's the newer one, and usually the newer game has like all the extra features and things like that. But for a little bit of background, when so I pretty much moved out as soon as I possibly could, and I sort of wanted to establish myself in film in Vancouver, and I did pursue that for a while, but it was kind of clear. So in between, while I was setting it up, I've kind of told this story a couple times before. My music player broke. I had a big long commute from where I was living, and didn't really have sort of the option to buy a new one, right? Like I was covering rent. I had, like my like food was covered and things like that. I wasn't quite at the point where like I'm worrying, am I going to be able to make it another month? But I was, it was really not at the point where I could be affording to do anything sort of extra. And so what that led me to do was I went to the library, and in the case of Vancouver, they have a really beautiful 6th-floor library that looks like a coliseum. And I picked up a book, and picked up a library card rather. And the first floor was actually the philosophy section, and I wound up seeing a bunch of books which I had remembered sort of quotes from in Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. So, this would be things like The Sickness Unto Death and Thus Spoke Zarathustra, and there's a few others. But this kind of helped me reconnect with a love of reading, which I had before, but maybe sort of lost because I'd spent too much time playing some video games and just doing, other kinds of things. But one thing that I kind of learned about film was I definitely developed the habit of... just always bringing a book with me and reading. I actually remember reading Nietzsche's The Birth of Tragedy on a horror movie set because I was a PA, and quite literally my job was to just sit there and like babysit an empty room for half of the day. I didn't do that all the time. But one thing I learned when I was in camera, having a book like that on the camera truck definitely rubbed people the wrong way. It sort of led to this feeling that it's like, thinks he's better than us. He reads those kinds of books. And there was actually a camera operator which was quite nice about it and sort of took me aside and sort of explained what was what. And he said is I know your deal, but you got to understand, these guys are never going to get that, So he said, it's up to you, but you might want to keep that in the car. When I did, I'm kind of ashamed to admit that now because it's obviously such a big part of my identity, but I was sort of happy enough to just leave that to the side. No, the other thing too is that I'm also a little bit more pragmatic when it comes to this sort of stuff, because when you're working in camera, you don't have downtime. You're either setting up the shot or you're shooting the shot. And if you're second, like I was at the time, the only time that you're really not doing one of those two things is when you're trying to maybe grabbing a coffee or something like that for the people who do not leave the camera under any circumstances. Usually the trainee does that, but if I didn't have a trainee, then I'm stuck doing it. But one thing that was true I built my social network. I had some friends, and they were really surprised to find out that I didn't go to university. And oddly enough, I'd never really kind of conceived of myself as the type of person who would go to a university, or even particularly smart, which sounds funny, given my the fact that I'm reading so much. But I didn't necessarily associate, like, there was sort of the academic smarts that I didn't necessarily think that I was equipped for. And I knew I wasn't very good at math. There were definitely a lot of things that I associated with smart university type things that I knew I didn't really do well. And then the reading I did was just largely reading for pleasure. I mean, the same way that, some people would read fantasy books or whatever. I, really, really enjoyed reading philosophy. But, a bit of time went by, and it was clear that sort of film was something that I didn't necessarily want to do for the long term. I'm happy that I did it, but I also kind of figured that there might be some other things that I could do. And I did actually seriously start looking at university. It's a little weird to go, a couple years after other people, but whatever. Like, it's fine. I'm already a weirdo, so. That was such clearly a good choice for me. A lot of my happiest thoughts are actually thinking back to university, particularly UBC, which has got a really beautiful campus. There are a few different gardens and areas that you can walk through. It was where I, definitely learned a lot of the things that I consider, some of the more valuable lessons that are sort of foundations that I'm building on for some of my other studies. But even just things like going into the libraries, walking down the aisles of libraries and finding books that I didn't even know I would want to look for, but, finding them so interesting. And even still keeping in touch with some of my profs. Like, while I'm not going to sort of say that everything's been downhill since then, university is definitely something that I still think very fondly about for a number of reasons. It actually kind of reminds me, I don't know how many of you have watched the series Billions, but there's a scene with Paul Giamatti, and he's kind of going through a sort of this therapy, and they ask him, remember a place where you really felt yourself or something like that. It's like the Yale Law School library, and like there's a moment where I'm like, I know exactly what he's talking about there. And so for me, universities, places of learning, education, those are just things that really strike quite close to my sense of self, to my core and things that I value. Which sounds cheap, right? Because like, who doesn't like education? Who doesn't value that sort of thing? But it is something that I care quite deeply about. But as you saw from that introductory video, it's got a really nice tone to it. It's definitely a very lighthearted and fun approach. And so, to me, while you're hearing the spooky music in the background, one of the reasons why I love playing Two Point Campus is that it's not just that I'm building my own university and stuff like that, but it's just this pure joy in terms of the tone that it takes and all of the different things that it does. It's a game of just kind of pure happiness, which brings me back both to some times where I really sort of felt I was hitting my stride and I was learning things that, continue to have importance to me today. But also just sort of a reflection on how, I've been able to apply some of those things and push them forward and do more, right? It is as forward looking as it is backward looking. I definitely don't want to be one of those people who sort of, peaked in university and it's all been downhill since then. So it's also one of the reasons why I wanted to do it today, because I obviously need a little bit of cheering up. And doing a game about something that I really like and I has a fun attitude to it, I think is kind of what the doctor ordered. And I mean, there's stuff that I can talk about in terms of for-profit universities and all of that too. But in this case here, we're just gonna enjoy building some things and extracting whatever we can out of our students. So this Countryside College has low expectations and a nice canal. It's a perfect place to start your career.
A university is not something that one simply opens, like a savings account or a jar of pickles. Any self-respecting academic institution was doubtlessly opened long ago by dignified people who wore bowler hats and spoke via subtitle. The world is a creation of the past, and it is our job to keep it all going and try not to touch anything.
Man, they really went all in on the Halloween stuff. All right, welcome to Freshly Meadows, where life moves slowly and expectations are lowly. The 2 Point Countryside is the perfect place to start your career, learn the ropes, make mistakes, and hit the ground smiling. All right, so we are going to make a Scientography course with 10 students.
Students are reminded.
Welcome to campus. Before you start churning out, before you start.
Sure you've done something.
Welcome to campus. Before you start churning out geniuses, you'll need to learn the basics of campus management. Try moving the camera and having a look around. Our campus is going to be running a Scientography course. Let's start by building a science lab. Okay, so this is a little bit like, there's a couple ways that you can think about this, right? You can think about this as, The Sims. You can think of this as Theme Hospital, but for schools. You can do all sorts of, there's all sorts of analogies that you can draw. But in this case here, one of the things that I've actually really liked doing about this is just building a university that I would want to go to. Which means I usually wind up overspending on certain things. But you'll notice at the top here, it gives you some requirements in terms of what you need for a building. I don't know if there's any bonuses to constructing in a certain way. So what I mean by that is you'll notice in a game like The Sims, you kind of get a bonus for having lots of corners to your rooms and such. And Sorry, I didn't want to quite do it that way. Okay, so 13. Yeah, I think this will work. Yeah, so the one thing that you'll notice here, so it'll tell you the requirements for the room, but you'll notice if you go further... Sorry, I was talking about The Sims. So The Sims, if you had a bunch of corners in the house, it would just increase the beauty level for it for some reason. And you'll notice here, one thing I do like about the way that 2 Point Campus handles it is it'll actually kind of give you an idea about how the prestige level is affected by the choices that you're making here. So in this case, what I'll do is, it's kind of clear I'm not going to have that much use for this corner after I put a 5x5 in place. So I made it a little bit bigger. I don't want to go too far because I can build a second... laboratory here. We'll just put the door on the edge, and then now I can, I'll get the rest of the paraphernalia. It has to have a science board and a science hub, and then everything else is sort of a bonus. So we'll put the science board right in the middle, along with the science hub. And then there are other things that I can put in place. So I could put a whiteboard down, for instance. That adds to the prestige, although not a ton. And then we can also add plants. So that brought that up to level 3. Let's see what happens if I add another one. I mean, it adds a nice... That plant really really brings the room together. Okay, yeah, it's catching wise that I'm adding too many. I think that'll do. There's some other things that I can put down over time, but... Oh, actually, we can do this here. A science shelf. Unquestionably flammable. Okay, so I guess we kind of used up the... We used up the space. I can't remember how to root... Okay, that's said. Really like punishing me for the duplicates. Yeah, that is not gonna help me. But that brought me to level 4. So, get a mutant plant? Maybe not. Okay, so that's my first science lab. We'll hit check. Yeah, that's one thing I like about the way that this game sort of handles the prestige and such. I mean, sometimes you just want to make it like look neat, right? Like, so in this case, it's sort of nice to have like all sorts of shelves of just different stuff. And I do like the idea of having a whiteboard in place, but you know, sometimes it's not necessary unless you're going to get the prestige level. And Vanguard says, I've never played The Sims. You had enough time keeping your Tamagotchi alive back in the day, let alone an entire family. I don't think I've ever seen I've read about Tamagotchi. There was like an article recently about it. I don't know if it's just making a comeback or if they're appealing to nostalgia or something, but it sounds like a neat idea for a pet. I guess it would be an app now if they were to make one of those. But now let's hire a teacher to run our first scientography class. So we do eventually get new recruits, but in this case, we really only have one option for a teacher, Amelia Boffin. So 70% teaching skill, costs $4,200 for recruiting, and then their salary is $28,000. Weak bladder, so toilet comfort decreases faster than most. Lollygagger moves slower than most. Bin blindness, drops litter, and didn't get what they ordered. So a real star academic that we're bringing here in our little campus. You had so many different types of Tamagotchi, so many, and you killed them all. How you doing, Tickfree? Okay, now I'm gonna have to go and look up Tamagotchis so I can relate to you all. You know, I was actually thinking of playing RimWorld. All right, great work. We now have everything we need to run our scientography course. When you're ready, select Start Next Year to welcome our first year of students. Now, I know there's other facilities that you can build in this, like toilets and dorms and things like that, but let's follow the tutorial the way we're supposed to. So, RimWorld's Canadian, by the way. So, I'm hoping the music starts up. Because I was kind of banking on like the oh right, let's unpause. There we go.
Now that's
Wait a minute.
listening.
I think this is one of those schools that I see in those low quality videos where everybody's way too old to be in class. The students are arriving on campus. Are you nervous? Why am I nervous?
Listen to this next track, and I'll take that pebble out of my shoe.
Students in the science lab should stand back at all times. Students eating rubbish are reminded
I figured that's
that you are
most of my
restrained.
viewers.
Now taking students for scientography. Welcome, new students. We're more afraid of you than you are of us. The timetable is not written in stone. Still, we're not changing it.
Look at that. The students are in their very first class. Who knows what will happen?
Class is starting soon. You're not late yet. Showering is technically but not socially optional.
Why aren't you in class? As students learn, they gain experience points, or XP, which will increase their academic level. So this is one nice thing about the game is that I've actually had schools that have run at a deficit, but because they are teaching the students well enough, the XP bonus will actually bring it. The XP bonus will bring it to a higher, or will put me in the black basically. Oh my God! Don't touch that with your bare hands.
Not to walk and read. Despite the rumours, the campus grounds are not a toilet.
At most a C+. They did it! The students passed their first class. Sadly, they didn't do all that well. It seems another number of them were distracted by one need or another. A student that has everything they need will be more happy, less distracted, and able to focus on their studies in an enthusiastic and cheerful haze. A student's needs, such as their thirst or toilet comfort, will affect their overall happiness.
Breaking news for you on 2 Point Radio.
Oh, okay. Such as their thirst or toilet comfort will affect their overall happiness. Happy students perform better in classes and earn more XP. Take a look at our students and see what we can do to improve the campus. All right, so tired, R, R, and R. The key to campus hospitality is to remember the 3 R's. Students need somewhere to relax themselves, to rest themselves, and to relieve themselves. Well, that's what the bushes are for. Maybe the jack-o'-lanterns if you're in a pinch. Sure, 2 of those might be the same thing, but it does sound convincing. Let's build a dormitory and a bathroom to keep people comfortable. So one thing that I actually found kind of funny when I first did this was the dormitories that I built were individual rooms, whereas you can sort of build this barrack-style dormitory, and that's totally fine as well. So we're going to do what the game says here and build a single dormitory. And then we're just going to have sort of space for a bunch of rooms. And we'll make it 10. Yeah, I'm probably going to need to do better than that. Probably cram another one in now that I think of it, but huh. Almost forgot the hand sanitizer. I got to put that everywhere now. I guess it would help if I put a door in, huh? The 2-point propaganda. Oh no, don't sell the windows. Look at that. Prestige 6 storms. I am good at running a university. Oh. Right. Okay, no, we can still save the plants. I guess that means one of them's sharing. Work them out amongst yourselves. All right, and we also need a bathroom. So obviously these are kind of narrow. The idea here is I want to try and have some wide open spaces for people walking. We also don't have that many students, though. There's a guideline that it gave in terms of like how many rooms per student you're supposed to have, and I really don't remember what that was. But we're definitely not going to make this run for the whole length of the room. 5 should be sufficient. So we'll grab... I mean, I could do the royal flush. Let's make that... That's going to be like the staff toilet. Okay, definitely a hand sanitizer. Feel we got to put a bunch of windows looking in. Sorry. And obviously you need your bathroom plants. Right, did you hear that? I think our students might be hungry. Traditionally, campuses offer a range of food and drink to, you know, sustain life. Let's add some vending machines. All right, so we have the Cheesy Gubbins machine, the country's favorite snack, and the Burp machine, carbonated for your refreshment. All right, so in this case, this is probably the most logical place to put these because it's close to the lecture hall, close to the science room, and close to the buildings. I actually don't know if there's anything about the pathing that you can, do to make these more valuable. But I figure what I can probably do as well is we can put a couple of, just a couple little areas for meeting. And I guess I was going to put another... Okay, so nowhere to sit outside the class. If we're up to the students, I'm sure we'd all be living in our own filth. Luckily, they have very little say in the matter. Let's hire a janitor and place a bin to keep things nice and tidy. Okay, so... Hey, stop that. I guess we'll start by hiring the janitor. So we've got Archie Biscotti, Mac Thump, and Lila Pickles. So Lila Pickles has a slightly higher salary, but they also have happy thoughts. So plus 30% maintenance, plus 4% happiness, get hungry easily, wants old Jasmine back, Mac Thump, weak bladder, squeaky clean, and behind the times. And Archie Biscotti, bottomless pit, iron bladder, squeaky clean, dives head first. I like the idea of a self-happy making janitor. So, and then we do need to put down a bin. I'm actually going to probably put down a few. Okay, we don't build bins, we place bins. Never enough bins. Let's see how the students do in their next class.
Worker at the Crockle Bay Zoo has fallen into the gibbon enclosure. It's been reported that they're not under any immediate danger, and zoo officials are currently negotiating with the gibbons for the employees' release.
Students eating rubbish are reminded that you are what you eat. Staff are reminded that dogs don't eat homework.
You have to go to the bathroom, so your first step is to go to bed. He stopped looking at his shoes. That's nice. Goth, fond of darkness, the night, and antique parasols. Not totally nocturnal, but agrees to disagree with direct sunlight. Dark aura bestows happiness on others. And bin blindness drops litter. God damn it.
Despite the rumors, the campus grounds are not a toilet.
Piper MacGuffin
Dangerous
is...
chemicals can be handled with or without care.
Class Clown makes things nice and cheery with steady stream of jokes and slapstick delights. A class is just an audience that keeps coming back. Laughing Matters keeps people entertained. Studious prioritizes assignments. Tessamania, neutral. The character cannot be contained by one central ideal. They're a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little not sure yet. Bin blind, dry mouth, gets thirsty easy. Please make sure you make liberal use of the vending machines. Weak bladder. A lot of weak bladders here. Willow Weaver is also neutral and gets hungry easily. Kensington Codswallop is also neutral. Lollygagger moves slower than most and a bottomless pit. Randy Fenderson is clearly destined for a life in a certain type of gross, poor personal hygiene. Well, actually, I guess we don't have showers in this.
That smell is you.
I don't think we have showers here, so I think everybody's going to smell. Henrietta Belcher, also neutral.
Lecture starting now.
Oh, you can watch the lecture. Alf Panther is SWAT, an academic purist that just loves learning. After a long day studying, they like to relax by doing some more studying. A man after my own heart. Wise Words helps others with their studies. Squeaky clean, excellent personal hygiene, and outgoing, socially extroverted. The bin was right there! What is wrong with you people? Dave Rainbow is neutral, squeaky clean, has dry mouth. Felix Colossus is dabbing, socially extroverted, and gets hungry easily. And
Your body's
Wolfric
a
looks very
temple,
happy.
And you wouldn't fill a temple with crisps. Class is starting soon. You're not late yet.
So I put bins everywhere.
Sometimes I get asked what I would have done had I not gone into the disc jockeying trade. Well, as a young boy, I dreamed of being a spy. Yes, I pined for a life of international intrigue and late-night dinners at the county's expense. Sadly, to be a spy, you need to be able to whisper, and I just can't do it. When it comes to disclosing secrets, you don't want my persistent volume and crystal clear intonation.
I do sometimes feel bad talking over the game because
Janitor required for groundskeeping. Thank you.
the delivery on some of the lines are quite good.
Frequently asked questions. You can find the bathroom yourself. I believe in you.
Well done. Those students look smarter already. The better they do, the more money you'll have to fund the campus. Who's smart now? Yes, you receive tuition freeze from all students enrolled in courses at the campus, as well as a bonus for how much XP they're earning. Satisfying student needs is just one way to improve our grades. Next on the agenda is a spot of studying. Luckily, the students have been given their first assignments. Welcome to your inbox, a place to check on student requests, disaster warnings, and upcoming visits. Some campus issues are time sensitive, so keep an eye out for new messages. Library required. All right, Alf Panther, library orientation looks at these books. 9 people agree. Let us build a library. Satisfying student needs is just one way to improve our grades. Next on the agenda is a spot of studying. Luckily, the students have just been given their first assignments. Completing assignments is a great way for students to earn XP away from the classroom, although it looks like they need some new facilities. Check your inbox to see what they need. All right, so obviously, when I play this game, I wind up building libraries that are much larger than actually required. And I do not regret it in the least. I will try and be a little more reasonable, though, with the libraries that I build. So let's start by building reception. So library is definitely one of the places, for me at least, in terms of school. It's not just that I spent a lot of time there. It's a place where, I don't know, like, it probably had the largest number of, like, I don't know, moments that I thought about where I was like, I'm really happy that happened. For those of you that like the blog, actually, I definitely, like, when I was playing this game, I thought a lot about the time when... So for those of you that haven't read that particular entry, I wrote an article which is basically about the benefit of inefficient searching. How, like, it's great that we have stuff like Google and Wikipedia, and I even try to be somewhat relaxed for the type of person that wants to, like, go and, you know, you ask a question, and then, you know, it's obvious that they've, like, gone and, like, looked up you know, an internet search to seem like they always knew it. Like, even then it's like, well, you know what, at least, you know, somebody learned something, right? It'd be nice, you know, if we don't pretend we know everything at the start. Like, it's not bad to learn new things, but you know, like, the point sometimes is the knowledge, right? And if people want to engage that way, they can. So these are things that I think are largely good developments. But one of the things that things like Google and Wikipedia are very good at is showing you the things that you already know you want to know. And there's an entire branch of knowledge that is actually better found in physical places like libraries because you don't know what to look for. And so the inefficient searching article was basically about how I was looking for a specific econ text, and at the university that I went to, the econ section was sort of on the bottom floor. It's kind of in the basement. Although it's weird to call it the basement because it was actually like there was a big hill. So it would just kind of like come out to the bottom of the hill as opposed to like the upper level where you went in. It's BC. If you haven't been to BC, that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but trust me, it did. But for me, like, what I did was I was walking on the way through and I sort of went through the philosophy section, which, as you already know, I kind of already, you know, I'm kind of already inclined towards philosophy. But the old saying, like, you don't judge a book by its cover, is a bunch of nonsense. Of course we judge books by their covers. And as it turns out, there was a book called The Cambridge Companion to Adam Smith. Now, this is not really an economics book. This is more of a work on his, on Adam Smith as a philosopher. But it was interesting to me because I actually own a few Cambridge Companions. I find them really helpful sort of handbooks for certain topics. I think I have the one on the pre-Socratics, one on Plato, and I feel like the Stoics. So yeah, it's a lot of the classical stuff that I have the Cambridge Companions for. But the thing is like I've used that series for a lot of different things, and what I did not know was that there was one for Adam Smith, and it would have been very interesting to me. I would have read that book a lot sooner if I had known that it existed. And so the lesson of that for me was that even though I was familiar with the series, and even though, you know, obviously someone who's really invested in econ and somebody who has more than a passing interest in terms of philosophy, it was only by going through a library and dealing with the fact that the products are ordered in a particular way and that I needed to be in a space to sort of learn about its existence, that sort of just makes me consider Google and Wikipedia and other sources like that to exist on a spectrum. When you know what you're looking for, they're really good. And if you do a Google search for really good books on economics, you'll find some really good books on economics, like Why Nations Fail is on there. There's a couple of ones where like they always come up on the lists and they're okay, but they're maybe not like the best to pick. But what wouldn't come up on there, even though Google knows my interests, right? They have my whole search history. They wouldn't be able to identify that particular interest in the form of the Cambridge Companion to Adam Smith, which, what is actually probably one of the most interesting books I could have picked up at that site. So again, I think it's kind of tired, and I don't think it's very helpful to just sort of say, okay, Google's making us dumb. Like that was the Nicholas Carr Atlantic article that he expanded to a book called The Shallows. And I'm actually sympathetic to The Shallows. But I maybe not convinced that it is the full picture, let's say. But it was something that sort of gave me an appreciation for why I look in certain places for certain types of knowledge, I guess we can say. I guess, Takri, we've talked a little bit about why you might be in school. I hope it was a good time to spend a lot of time in school. For me, one of the reasons why I spent so much time in school was just my commute was so long. So I kind of got the most out of my, I guess I kind of got the most out of my commute by staying as late as I could. But I don't know. I really I like libraries in general, but my school library was a really good one. And so it's one that I remember very fondly. And so again, especially because I was already writing that article on inefficient searching, it is just a chance for me to get a little bit more. It's so weird that I'm not able to make this thing a little bit more snug, but that's fine. I'll deal with the slightly annoying offset. Or maybe I can move this all to the side and I'll have room for a plant. Not even close. As in every after-school program, you could be flag team, theater, math clubs. I didn't realize there were math clubs. Are you good at math? Well, I realize when you say that, everybody's like, oh no, terrible at math. I don't understand numbers at all. And like, it turns out they're really good at math, but you know what I mean. Computer cubicle, insecure in public, textbook cubicle, newfangled book learning, study cubicle, but is it too quiet? All right, I'm going to put a few of these in. It's like we'll put a big range of regular study cubicles. I'll put nuts. I was hoping to get a couple of the textbook ones in. Now I've gone and done it. I knew I'd find a space for my plant. All right. Well. You like math? It just makes sense. There were competitions. You did okay. Oh, you didn't do the Putnam, did you? And then you were in an African drumming class that you got to perform in a few places too. That was neat, but it only lasted half the year. That is a really neat. I was in high school. I was in a jazz band, and we got to go to Montreal for a jazz festival. But yeah, definitely, it's not African drumming. That's for sure. Okay, and now I need the students to complete the assignment.
Whoa, is that? It can't be. New from Cheesy
Oh, hang on.
Gubbins.
I need to.
One big gubbin. Out of your dreams and into your mouth.
Despite the rumours, the campus grounds are not a toilet. Student housing should be character building, not pleasant.
Some of our students are completing an assignment in the library. Actually, I'm sorry. I just need one quick moment. I will be back as soon as I can. Wow, that was quiet. So first of all, I'm sorry about that. That was kind of abrupt. One, I needed to go to the bathroom. Two, I definitely needed more tea. And then number three, I wanted to get a sneak peek at the election results. So absolutely no surprises except maybe mayor. I guess it was close for the other candidate, but it looks like most of it's already been called. But yeah, sorry about that. I wanted to get through a few things.
And we've got an update for you on the story of the zoo worker that fell into the
So
Gibbon
Takri,
enclosure. We're now hearing
what
that the
parts of
employee
mathematics
is
did you like
rising
the
through
most, if you
Gibbon
don't mind me
social
asking?
structure. Fascinating stuff.
Let's see how the students
There's
do in their
no
next
word
class.
on what Gibbons are, but I believe they're a kind of amphibious cat. Little smooth creatures with whiskers and a big bushy tail. Fantastic.
Hey, he even got a little bit of the water in the plant.
Proud. Or else.
Ah! I want to get the bookworm. All right, 7,500 in tuition fees, 2,083 for rent, 8,274 for XP bonus, 6,329 staff wages for a monthly profit of 11,528. So we can just, I don't know, hire like 1 million more people. One janitor for every student. All right, I got my eye on you.
Students are reminded that you don't have to ask.
I saw that.
Students are reminded not to walk and read.
Trig proofs. Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna quiz you or anything like that. I was just curious. Someone I knew used to really like geometry, and they said because they really liked doing the proofs. So then I started sharing some like geometry stuff that I liked, and then they got mad at me because they said like they couldn't get it, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, like I was trying to share something I thought was interesting. But it apparently came off the wrong way, so I don't share math stuff that I like as much. Bookworms are drawn to the county's campuses like flightless moths to flaming hot page turner. A colony of bookworms once devoured the Smogley Library's entire teen fiction section in a matter of minutes. Nowadays, the county's books are treated with worm-resistant jelly to prevent such disasters. Look out for bookworms around campus to add to your collection. Select them to receive rewards.
Students eating rubbish are reminded that you are what you eat. Plagiarism is not a belief system.
Does anybody have a favorite announcement line that they've heard so far, or are these only amusing to me? Bored? Now we're bubbling, this means business. I should be taking a look at the names for the courses. They do change each time.
We're joined by Professor Hamish Curlybags of the Pebbly Frog Sanctuary, who tells me gibbons are nothing like an amphibious cat. What's going on, Hamish?
That's right, Ricky. Gibbons are actually, well, they're land mammals and apes, much like ourselves, but with very long arms.
Apes, you say? Well, I never. Thanks for joining us, Professor. There's
Your students
nothing
have
I
gone
like
from
more
C
than
grade
being
chumps to
corrected.
B grade brainheads. Let's recap how you did this, shall
Janitor
we?
needed to unblock toilets. Lovely.
Campus Management 101. Educate. Provides better staff and facilities to improve your students' grades. Make students happy and comfortable to increase their learning rate. Earn more cash by growing your campus and enrolling more students.
Announcement. The campus is
So we actually made less,
responsible for anything that
less money
happens
this
in
month.
the science lab.
Congratulations, you've earned some kudosh for completing objectives. Spend kudosh to unlock new items as well as staff outfits and interior design options. So these are the options here. Now, one thing I have learned, I've got 280, but these get eaten up really quickly, and there are student requests. So there we go. Love bench wanted. I'm sorry, Alf. That is not happening. Oh, hang on. No, Wolfric Half Moon. Good friends. I can't be sure, but I think I might have feelings for someone. If you buy us this, maybe I'll figure it out. All right. Well, as long as you've got someone, because I was pretty sure Alf Panther was gonna enjoy my university experience. But no, we will spend the 25 kudosh for the love bench.
You don't have to ask to go to the toilet. Sleep is important, but you can do it later.
Do we do the secluded love bench? Do we put it inside? Oh no, it's gotta be outside. Do we announce it in the middle of a field? It's a trap love bench. You think you're sitting down for a picnic, and then all of a sudden, ha! We're partners now. Secluded love bench. One that you can stare across and see the others. I guess a properly secluded one would be behind the tree, so. There we go. Okay, looks like we need a staff room, and it wants us to employ 5 staff members, although it's maybe a little less clear what we need the extra staff for. So I think I'm going to start by extending. I'll just put an extension to this room here. Hey, the Eyes of Sin. You are not late. You are, whenever you want to show up is exactly the time that you are needed. So I'm very glad to see you, though. How are you? For those of you unfamiliar with the Eyes of Sin, they are the person responsible for the following emotes. So, if you want to be watching Eyes of Sin stuff, this is Eyes of Sin's Twitter. This is where you can also hire them if you happen to have any commissions that you need done. If you'd like to see their recent works, you've got their Ko-fi page. Now, I will mention that Eyes of Sin does not just do sort of drawn art and emotes and such, but is actually, I'm somewhat envious as far as a photographer. But there's a couple of food pictures inside there. There's actually one that I really enjoyed, which was, I don't know if this was practice or not, but this nice, very complex rainbowy image that's on the Patreon. I'm actually, sorry, not Patreon, Ko-fi right now. But also, if you are interested in their older work, there's the Tumblr as well. So Eyes of Sin is somebody who has, obviously has contributed a lot in terms of the emotes, and is somebody who I just really like as a person, but does make a living doing the art as well. So I like being able to shout that out. Although I do also want to take the time, obviously, sorry, I keep saying obviously, and maybe these things aren't obvious. I've spent some time talking about Eyes of Sin. It is worth saying as well that Takri also does art, and I believe is available for commissions. Unfortunately, I don't have a direct link for Takri, but I don't. I always feel a little bit bad, right? It's a little bit like when I'm shouting someone out for. I'm shouting someone out for like streaming, and then there's somebody in the chat who I don't know is a streamer. And I feel really bad about that because there's been a couple of people who I personally really like as broadcasters, and I get along well with them, but I know their mod doesn't really like me. And so they quite conspicuously avoid mentioning or shouting me out. And that always is just kind of a little bit annoying, right? So I always feel a little self-conscious if I if I kind of neglect to mention other people and their talents as well. So this is also my chance to talk about Takri and her own artistic talents. Well, you still do it, and I was going to say both you and Amanda certainly are far more capable than I'm ever going to be as artists, and so it's something that I like being able to celebrate in terms of the talents of the people who I know. I'm lucky to know these many talented people. But yes, so I'll ask Isaacson, because I did I didn't exactly press gang you for this, but I was kind of saying, hey, there's this game that I really like here. Have you ever heard of 2 Point Campus? Is there anything better I can do for my staff than just making them sit on couches? Probably not. Dartboard. Put it by the mailbox. I'm looking for stuff that I already own rather than spending the kudosh on it. Again, not that you do want to spend the kudosh when you can. It's just it's easy to sort of kind of eat that all up maybe faster than you expect. Maybe we'll turn this one around like this. Not that close to the dartboard. I do not actually want someone to get hit. I didn't really think about the staff room notice board. I'll put that right there. I forgot plants. Only in passing you've seen it mentioned. Well, hopefully you see. I was talking a little bit about just how happy universities and the concept of learning makes me. But hopefully you'll get to see some of the fun in this.
You can buy breadcrumbs from any.
I am also really making a meal of the
interweb parlor replacement service, but there's something to be said for doing it the old-fashioned way, by throwing the loaf against a brick wall until it disintegrates into a fresh and flaky nothingness. It'll take a good couple of hours, but boy is it worth it.
I'm also really making a meal of this tutorial, so I've tried kicking back in every room on the campus, but nothing is quite hitting the spot. I think we need a dedicated room for students to hang out, to relax, and to lounge. All right, well,
Attention. Your
I could do like an
finger is
extension.
not fresh. Education is non-refundable.
Guess we'll do a little something like this. Okay. Having a cabinet space. No benches. We don't want any of the riffraff hanging out outside this staff lounge. I'd go for an arcade machine in the student lounge.
Janitor needed to unblock toilets. Lovely. Announcement. Please stay away from the staff room. No
I was trying to get the bookworm. Okay. I will put the dartboard down. I feel like if I'm going to put one in the staff room, I kind of need to do one for the student lounge, but and little something people can congregate around. But I do also want to make sure we've got proper couches and such as well. I think I'm going to put vending machines inside here. There's already ones close enough.
It doesn't matter how desperate you are. No urinating on campus facilities. Students in the science lab should stand back at all times.
Yeah, I think that works. It's level 4 compared to level 7 for the staff, but... Oh, actually, there's a couple other things I could do to improve that. Advertising. There's a lot of jobs for janitors around campus. Consider
We've got
hiring more
breaking
janitors.
news
All right,
and a
I'll get another
surprise
one.
twist from the Gibbon enclosure. The zoo worker, first thought lost to the diminutive apes,
Barrel muffin.
has become their leader. They claim to have learned to love the gibbons, their way of life, and their disproportionately lengthy arms. So, instead of going to work in the zoo every day, they'll just be living there, I suppose. That's one way to skip the morning traffic. I've been Ricky Hawthorne. Good night.
So notice our... Oh no, our monthly profit study.
Students eating rubbish are reminded that you are what you eat. No livestock in the student lounge. Thank you.
I didn't think about where to put the plant. All right in the middle. So I really only need one more staff member. I think we'll just go for an extra janitor. I don't think it hurts to have more than one. So Roger Moon is fairly expensive. No, we'll go for it. Okay, extra credit. Average assessment score 70%. We're at 90% level 3 science lab and complete 2 assignments. So we'll get the assignment from the students. We could speed things up. Oh. We're in for a soggy stretch, a wet patch, a time that is rainy and muggy and dank. It may not be for everyone, but I'm sure the weeds will enjoy it. Weeds will make the campus grounds less attractive, but can be removed by a janitor. So I suppose just as well as
You
we
can do it later.
got a couple of those. And so satisfy 2 personal goals and develop 2 best friends friendships. So in that, basically, we need to wait for those to emerge. But for now, we'll just enjoy the sights of the rain. I think I'm also gonna add a shower room. Now, it seems weird to dedicate this much time, this much space to showers, given the size of the restroom. So here's maybe what I'll do. So I wonder if I can just pick up and move the... I wonder if I can just like pick up and move the bathroom. Five shower stalls, four towels. Figure it out yourselves.
Staff are reminded to care about students.
The all-important shower plants. Please remain seated. I suppose you gotta get that message out somehow. I can move it. Haha. So I figure what I can do here. We can extend the dorms.
Needed to unblock toilets. Lovely. The library is not your home, nor your home a library.
Oh my god, so much nudity! Monthly profit's kind of gone in the toilet, but... So how did this work before?
Attention. Your finger is not a toothbrush. Unattended sandwiches will be eaten by me.
Double jump bed. No shoes, no shirt, no jumping. Tasteful. Two-player arcade table wanted. Elf Panther and Wolfric Half Moon, best friends. We want this because, well, do you want to tell the story? No, I can't. I guess you had to be there. All right. Yes, we'll spend the kudosh because this is fulfilling a goal. Now, we could add that to the student lounge, but I don't think we have to. Oh, nope. So apparently that does need to be added to the student lounge. Now, one thing I can probably get away with, I can just extend it because this hallway doesn't need to go to nowhere.
Janitor required for groundskeeping. Thank you. Announcement. The campus does not offer ensuite accommodation.
Yeah, I guess this will do. Okay, it's recommending we hire another janitor, so we'll get an extra happy one. Sorry, I realize I'm not giving the best commentary for this, but I'm trying to satisfy the students' demands. Here we go.
Students are reminded that you don't have to ask to go to the toilet. Students are reminded.
That brings it a little more in line with the staff room. Oh, interesting. So we actually made a loss if we, except for the fact that we taught our students really well. Okay, that's something I'll have to keep an eye on, but I think this will work for me.
I'm Felicity Bellbottoms, and you may be listening to Campus Radio. Unfortunately, our broadcasting signal has taken a hit due to some of our equipment being prematurely recycled. One of our reporters is in a skip, looking for the parts as we speak. So, consider that colourful visual, and we'll be right back.
Now, one thing I can do to try and make the, the activity run by a little bit faster. I can just hit the fast forward button here, but one of the things I do like, so first of all,
We ask questions. Your food is cold because the oven wasn't on.
I do like listening to the announcer. I do like the little bits in between on the station.
Of the academic year,
So I'm
in case you
assuming that
haven't noticed.
means the rain's coming. Yep. But I actually also really like the tone of the music. Like, again, it's one of these ones that's very sort of bright and chipper. Like I said, it's very optimistic, and it reminds me of sort of a very, like I said, a period of time where I was quite happy. Which again, if I'm feeling kind of gloomy, like sometimes it's nice to have a game like that you go to and you feel a little bit, you just, I don't know, like there's a few where I'm sort of like,
Your finger is not a toothbrush.
it doesn't really matter what happened to you
The
that
staff room
day.
is for staff. It's their room.
just being able to sort of like have something that you sit down and is like, you know, it doesn't matter what happened when I play this game, I'm going to feel
Academic year
great.
is starting soon. Was there anything we wanted to do?
I always think it's kind of nice to have a little something
The
like
end
that.
of year results have been released. Luck won't help you now.
Congratulations, you finished the academic year. Let's see how we did. Let's head to the end of year awards to
Academic
celebrate
year
to
is
see how we
over.
did.
Students must vacate the campus.
All right, 100% pass rate, 89% average exam results, 10 continuing, none graduated, no expulsions, none failed, no dropouts. We got an award for academic excellence. So there is an equivalent to this in 2 Point Hospital, where there's sort of hospital awards. So we got 10 kudosh and $5,000 for that. We also got Campus of the Year, so average environment attractiveness 82%, average room prestige of 5. And again, technically 100% pass rate for all tests.
Despite the rumours, the campus grounds are not a toilet.
The summer break is
May or may not pay off.
The summer break is the perfect time to prepare for the year ahead, build facilities, make unsustainable design choices, and bask in last year's glory. Let's expand our range of courses by starting a virtual normality course. Okay. So, you get course points. You can actually upgrade courses as well as add new ones. So what we'll do here, we'll add virtual normality as the game recommends. In this case, it'll cost us the 30 course points, so we can't upgrade Scientography. A new era of technology is here, and it's sure to redefine the way you think about goggles. Students can experience being where they're not, like never before. Discover new worlds or practice tying your shoes, all in the comfort and privacy of the virtual
We're
realm.
back, and so is our broadcasting signal. Thanks to Hugh for getting in the skip. By his own account, he was happy to do it, adding that the view from inside the skip offered him an entirely new perspective on campus. Now, if that's not an idea for a segment, I don't know what is.
So one thing that you may, again, I haven't gotten that far in the base game here, but with the average tuition fees, that might be something that will sort of help you decide whether or not you want to add a particular course. But in this case, kind of the game's already told us to take it, so I'm not gonna focus too much on it. And apparently it will accommodate SWATs, neutrals, class clowns, pashtos, goths, and rebels. Now, there's a couple things that I can do. So I can actually change the student intake and applications and such. So one thing that does help, you can adjust the tuition fees. Now there's a trade-off on this. So you can lower tuition fees, and that will increase the number of applicants, and it can also adjust the learning rate. So directly you'd sort of think, okay, well, if you lower tuition fees, you're going to see an overall decrease in your revenues. And given the fact that we're actually losing money and we're making it up on the learning rate, I might actually want to try and make a little bit more money with this. But the thing that's worth remembering here is that because you do get money for the XP, if you can get your learning rate up by lowering the fees, this might actually be better in the long run. So let's see what happens. So one thing I might like to do here is just adjust the student happiness. Right, so it seems that 6750 will be sufficient for making them super happy. But it doesn't look like we can bring the learning rate any higher. I'm not going to make it free. But hitting 15 actually seems to be a good spot for Scientography. So we'll apply these changes, and then we'll also see if we can change virtual normality. Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of new students coming in. That may have some implications in terms of what happens with staff.
Janitor needed to unblock toilets.
Yeah, so we're going to need another we're going to need a
Livestock in the student lounge. Thank you.
We're going to need another Scientography teacher, we're going to need a VR lab, and we're going to need a virtual normality teacher, as well as another lecture theater. And then it also looks like we are going to be getting another plot. All right, soon we'll have another group of students joining the campus. It's important to expand with our ever-growing student body. Buy a new plot for your second year on campus. So our options here, plot 2 with buildings, it's 2,000, and okay. What about
Let's
plot
hear
3?
from Hugh, who's fresh out the skip with a story
I
about
guess this
an
is-
unusually cloudy weekend for one of the county's hottest locations.
So I am curious whether or not we're going to be able to get away with adding the lecture theater and the
Students at
VR
Breaking
lab
Point campus
were
were
all in
expecting
here.
a weekend full of sun, laughter, and knockabout fun. But a dark cloud has washed away their optimism, leaving them with sadness and no real use for all that sun cream. They were forecast a weekend of sun and balmy temperatures, but what they got was a drizzly and altogether grey affair. Spare a thought for them, sitting inside. Their sandals, sandless. Their skin, cool and unburnt. Fliss, back to you.
It doesn't matter how desperate you are. No urinating on campus facilities. Library books are for everyone. Please stop reading.
So I was trying to think about whether or not I want to try and stick the lecture theater in the same area as the VR lab. It's gonna be a small VR lab if I do it, but now we'll just make a huge VR lab. Okay, so we'll do our usual setup. So we'll add the VR desk.
Janitor needed to unblock toilets. Lovely. Warning. Don't touch anything in the bathroom. Anything.
Invalid room? Nonsense. So again, I don't want to spend the kudosh on any of the stuff that that isn't necessary, but I figure there's at least a few little bits that I can add to make it a high quality edition. Cool, we got that up to level 5. And looks like the garbage can might be blocking it.
Reminded that you are what you eat.
Nope, okay, that's fine.
Students are reminded that virtual reality is more virtual than reality.
So the last thing I need is a lecture theater. Now, I can try and cram one in this building here, but we did just build this whole new area here. So let's see if there's an option to just duplicate this. Yes, there is. Okay.
Waiter, waiter! Oh, the service here is
So that doesn't quite
You
work.
could go out. Or you could stay in
That works.
with a bowl of hog logs. You've tried fine dining, but this is swine
Okay, so we
dining.
need another
Only
Scientography
hog log
teacher.
cereal combines 4 times of wheat with a salty crunch of crispy pork skin.
Squeaky clean, bin blindness, iron bladder.
Janitor required in lecture theatre.
Let's go for the speedy one.
Planets aren't always flat.
And then we need a VR. So Miles Mills has comic timing. The rest of them are just kind of ordinary VR teachers. So spends money to lose money. The only problem is he's gross, but apparently has a sense of humor about his grossness. Okay. So we may need to expand our facilities for the student lounge and all of that, seeing as we'll have a whole bunch of other... Wait, 10 course points? I'm curious where I got those. So we are going to be adding quite a few new students, but in this case here, we'll see whether or not the satisfaction numbers go down, and we'll add as required to the additional building. So let's start the new year. Are you sure you want to start the year with the following courses? Let's do it.
Now taking students for virtual normality.
Okay, so there's a bunch of...
Students are reminded that you don't have to ask to go to the toilet.
wants to sit on a park bench.
Announcement. Please stay awake in the
We
staff
have a few of those.
No dozing.
Okay, park bench wanted. Did you know that some students sit around all day? It's true. May I suggest then additional seating options? Thank you for your time. Okay,
Welcome to the start of a new year.
I thought we had a few of those, but
Hello.
I told myself I wasn't going to make a fuss. I really did. But do you think we could maybe have somewhere to live? Okay, so turns out I did need more. More dormitories. That's weird that I can't make those beside each other. That looks so weird in the spacing. So I'm a little tempted to just copy this. I think I'll make a mini dorm inside here instead. We must cover the window. I'm sure we can cram more beds in here. Probably going to hit the door, so I think we'll leave it at these 4. Make sure the appropriate propaganda is up. All right. That I think we'll have to do. I don't have bathrooms in this building, but again, I'm kind of expanding on a as needed. Okay. Love trumpet. In the name of love, could we please have this thing? Do it for love. Hang on. Wasn't Alf Panther with but my goth man. All right. So Alf Panther and Randy Fenderson want to announce their love with the love trumpet. 50 kudosh well spent. I believe that is an outdoors thing. No, apparently we can love trumpet inside the building as well. But we do have a lot of open space in the field, so. Okay. And then finally, Bat Poster wanted. Of course Wolfric wants this. I request this article of the night with which to strengthen the moon's power. Oh, please. I think it would be lovely. All right. 15 kudosh. And we are going to goth up the campus. Apparently you're not allowed to put them in the bathroom. All right.
We're
That'll
now
do for now.
hearing that the bored students in Breaking Point have been seen riding around campus in maintenance carts used by janitorial staff and the local Coast Guard. It's
I'm
a
calling
sobering
shenanigans
reminder
on
to all
the-
of us that you can't take
the
a golf
dormitory.
cart without asking just because it's a bit cloudy.
Students eating rubbish are reminded that you are what you eat. Frequently asked questions. Yes, your leather jacket does look nice.
So, I'm curious what people think of this game. I know, like I said, I'm kind of making a meal of the tutorial, but is the enthusiasm, or maybe not the enthusiasm, but is like the tone of the game coming across just sort of passively watching the game, or should I maybe try and move on to some of the things that I don't know, like some of the things that are maybe a little bit more active or interactive? Let's bring Denise Beer in because I'm noticing some litter.
Janitor required in bathroom. No livestock in the student lounge. Thank you.
Let us look at the budding romances. Okay. We made money, and Records Cubicle. 5 kudosh. Requires obsolete theories. Alright. Now, the problem is trying to find a spot for it in the library. Okay, we can cram it in there. It's starting to get a little crowded, but I suppose we can move these bookshelves if it comes down to it. I do dislike this wasted space in the end here, but I don't really have a lot of options because there's a doorway here.
Despite the rumors, the campus grounds are not a toilet. Your book is upside down. That's your book upside down.
I do also sometimes like seeing the little lecture notes that come up, but I don't have an immediate one on here. One of the other ones I was thinking of when Takri mentioned mathematics, if I really blew it on 2 Point Campus, I could share what I think my favorite math proof is. Oh, what's this? Probably not enough seating space? Well, that can't be right, because there's a bunch of chairs. Although maybe... Oh, I never knew they had descriptions here. I wonder if maybe I can get another set of... Oh, yeah, there we go.
Janitor needed in dormitory. Students are reminded not to walk and read.
I already hired an assistant. I guess the assistant's on break, though? Room at capacity. Ah, okay. So too many students in the lounge. It is tempting to just build another one, given that we have all this extra space over here. We'll see if it kind of stays at capacity. New campus unlocked. This must be frightfully exciting for you. The people of Freshly now have a second thing to be proud of, to go with their canal. Bully for them. Congratulations and so on. Still, don't be too complacent. This is only your first campus, and frankly, it shows. So we've got a hot dog kiosk, coffee kiosk, and a whale fountain now. We got some money and some kudosh. Now, you can increase the rating of your campus. So this is the first of 3 stars, so I'm going to continue. And it'll tell us some things that we need to try and do. So one thing we want to do is increase the campus level. So this is done by adding buildings, facilities, basically just doing more. Earning 150,000, that's fairly, I think that probably makes sense. And then satisfying 10 personal goals. So these are, I always tend to find that these are the most difficult for me to achieve. So let's start with the kiosks. So Randy Fenderson, ooh, I'd love something nice from a cart, a kiosk, or even a cart kiosk. Now I can put these indoors, but in this case, we've got a lot of spare space on the grounds, so I'm not just going to build the kiosk, but I'll build, the coffee kiosk, but I'll build a hot dog one as well. And for those, we do need to hire assistants, so the nice thing here is it'll get me a couple of extras. Oh, great, so Lillian Broccoli, very good librarian. So it's actually a surplus that I just hired, but I'm okay with that. So Catherine Biscotti will work in the coffee. And put Petra in there. And while I'm at it, let's hire another janitor. Oh man, it's a super janitor.
Showering is technically but not socially optional. If virtual reality makes you feel nauseous, can I recommend actual reality?
So you can notice, right, we already got a pretty big bonus to the campus level just by doing those. Oh. The love trumpet has sounded. So again, you can probably boost my campus level by adding either adding or extending the student lounge. But for now, I'm actually I'll see what we need, because I also think our campus level is going to be going up as these personal goals get satisfied. Also, I wanted to catch up. Oh. Scientography open day. Sorry, Scientography open day.
Bickleworth on 2 Point Radio.
A group of
Greetings, and welcome to the show. We all have our passion projects, don't we? Our dreams, our hobbies, our oddly job-like hobbies and odd jobbies. Personally, I moonlight as a writer of mysteries. Up next, I'll be taking you to a black and white world of mystery and intrigue. The much-anticipated return of Inspector Blanbury in Pinched Puddings and Just Desserts.
A group of prospective students is interested in Scientography and hoping to visit campus. So one thing that's nice about this is it gets us extra kudos. I don't really need the extra applicants because we're already doing we've lowered our tuition fees, so we are getting quite a few. We're getting quite a few new people already, but it doesn't hurt.
Janitor needed in library. The staff room is for staff. It's their room.
I'm also happy to see all the A+ showing up in the library, so it justifies my my extra spending. So if I need to expand, there's one more plot here, but again, I don't want to get too comfortable with the idea of having like gobs of space. I might be able to get a little bit more if I move the staff room and the lecture theater sort of up along here. But yeah, I'll try to eke out a little bit more from this building, and then sort of the last resort is to buy the third plot. So again, technically we're losing money, but we make it up from the high experience
That
level.
smell is you. Class is starting soon. You're not late yet.
No, you cannot go multi-floor in this. It's interesting to be able to build vertically in these kinds of games, but the thing is that if you can build vertically, it removes the constraint of like having to plan, or at least maybe I shouldn't say removes, because there's ways that you can make it costly. But like part of the thing that's interesting about this is dealing with the constraints on space, so you can't sort of sprawl out forever as a campus. You do need to make some decisions in terms of how you're using that space well. So I don't think it's like I'm personally not that bothered by.
Janitor needed in staff room.
I am getting a lot of janitor needed messages, so I think I'm
Sleep
gonna
is important,
order one more.
but you can do it later.
There are a lot of jobs for janitors around. Yep. Just one for now, but. Now notice we haven't, it says satisfy personal goals. Notice that we didn't have to respond to one. In this case here, people will get personal goals, and if they're already something that can be satisfied, I believe they'll just follow up on their own. The problem is that when people do that in the background, it's hard to like focus on it. So, but that's my my guess so far. All right, so lab work for thermal desking. This is why I like to save the kudosh, because you never know when these are gonna.
Summer, and Blanbury had
come up.
scarcely caught his breath.
I'll put that in the
Fresh
corner.
after outsmarting the smuggly cat burglar when an invitation to tea dove inauspiciously through his letterbox. Such are the demands on a world-class detective and conversationalist.
No rest for a world-class detective and conversationalist.
Arriving at Flackley House, our inspector was met with two familiar smells. One promised scones, the other, calamity.
The open day was a great success. Those students now think of us as an important part of their future, for better or worse. Okay.
Students eating rubbish are reminded that you are what you eat. Announcement. The campus does not offer en-suite accommodation.
We got to level 9 just by adding the benches. Nice. And we hit A+. I don't know if this is true for the rest of you, but I was definitely not the type of student who would like argue with the instructor over the grade level. But I definitely got very competitive with those magic numbers.
Required in bathroom. Announcement. Opening a book is not the same as reading.
Okay, we've got another goal. Wolfric, I used to eat loads of sherbet and play Meat Wizard until my thumbs went numb. Simpler times. Where am I going to find room for an arcade machine? Okay. I'll move the lamp.
Frequently asked questions. I believe that smell is you. Announcement. You can't work in the student lounge. It's just not possible.
I broke. I'm just going to add another student lounge. I can resize if I need.
Janitor needed in dormitory. Class is starting. Please take a seat.
Oh, I'd love something nice from a cart, a kiosk, or even a car. Okay, smoothie it is. I didn't realize I thought we had all our kiosks. Okay, so I know we already have a spare assistant running around, but I'm gonna have basically a backup librarian just in case.
And so to tea, where the sandwiches came and went without the intervention of evil. Though Blambury feared the host had been a little overzealous with the cucumber. When, quite of a sudden, the lights went out.
Oh, sorry, I'm always doing that.
The light came up, and Blambury began to doubt himself. Perhaps what he felt was nothing but a herring of lead. Alas.
The trifle! The trifle! They've stolen the trifle!
Announcement. Healthy body, healthy mind. I came up with that. Rubbish should be placed in bins. Is that too complicated for you?
I do like that the announcer sasses the students. All right, what's that plant called? You know, the one with the things. Oh, you know what I mean. All right, I am actually happy to get these because I feel like my I feel like the kind of the field's not as nice as it could be.
Janitor required in bathroom. Students are reminded that virtual reality is more virtual than reality.
There we go. I usually go overboard whenever somebody has a request like that, but we have lots of money. It is kind of fun. I always figured the bookworms were just sort of so that you wouldn't immediately go to the fast speed and like just wait for the next big event. Although to be honest, I get a lot of satisfaction just sort of watching my campus roll along. I'm hoping we can satisfy the personal goal in time for the end of the year. Obviously, personal goals are not something I control, so
Attention. Your finger
we'll have to see.
is not a toothbrush. If you don't like the staff room,
Oh, there we go.
try getting back to work.
Your campus is certainly better than it was, but I'm left wondering, why didn't you make it this good the first time? Just something to ponder. And a bath time statue. All right, so we will continue. Let's go for the 3rd star. Upgrade a course to level 4, 10 A-grade classes, and we need 10 students to graduate. So I definitely have a couple of years ahead of me for the campus. But let's see if we can get that fancy... Let's see if we can get that fancy statue.
Hi, I'm Jumbo McNally, and at Jumbo University, every instructor is handpicked by someone that was handpicked by someone that I handpicked. That's the Jumbo Touch. Jumbo University, be your biggest self.
Weather report. Oh look, it's raining. Janitor needed in VR lab. Students are reminded to be constantly upbeat.
Well, one day we will find out what that was for. unfortunately, our needs don't seem to be... Well, we're down from an A+. And it makes me sad. So this is one of these times I would consider... Hello, John. Yes, I did. I was quote-unquote lucky enough that I wound up voting about, I don't know, 5 minutes before polls closed. Although, as the rule usually goes, like, if you're in line in time for closing, you're still gonna be able to vote. But, like, it's a 15-minute walk to the polling place for me. And, but the amount of time that I waited, I probably was, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes in line. That's not good. All right, so this is another desk for the science lab. It's getting a little crowded in there, but we're able to accommodate. I'm happy to do another open day. A group of prospective students is interested in virtual normality and hoping to visit the campus, so we'll accept that. And a minor profit because we're spending a lot on staff, but hopefully that will keep the place clean. We are back to A+, which is nice. I don't get... I mean, we did build a second student lounge specifically to avoid the crowding, but... If I need to cut staff, we do have a couple of assistants that are sort of dead weight, but I'm not quite at that point, especially because we have a pretty reasonable, amount. We did start with 500,000, of course, so you know we're still less than what we started off with. But of course, you know, if we were to sell the campus, we'd presumably get more than the 120,000 or so that we're short. But yeah, again, here I'm really tempted to just speed things up because we can't really do anything about any of this until
student strikes cause university closure. And
until we get to the end of the year.
threatens to triple taxes. Lovely. Now that's done, we can return to the matter at hand. Will Inspector Blanbury crack the case? Wouldn't you like to know?
Okay, 2-player game table, 100 kudosh. If I can practice, maybe I'll turn pro when I graduate. That's a thing, right?
Frequently asked questions.
I mean, I waited, but I wasn't happy I waited.
Is you. Warning. Don't touch anything in the bathroom.
Okay.
Anything.
So I'm gonna... I'm basically just cramming these wherever I can. Just made... Wait, what? Okay, so apparently I put it in the wrong lounge. That's so weird. So it says it's not blocked until the last possible moment.
Janitor
There we go.
needed in shower room. Students are reminded not to walk and read.
Ah. I don't actually need the same things in each lounge, but makes me feel better when I do. Okay, the open day was a great success. Those students now think of us as an important part of their future, for better or for worse. And we actually lost money this time around. We're in for a soggy stretch, a wet patch, a time that is rainy and muggy and dank. It may not be for everyone, but I'm sure the weeds will enjoy it. Weeds make the campus grounds less attractive, but it can be removed by a
Students
janitor.
eating rubbish are reminded that you are what you eat. Students are reminded
So
that the
why are you
student
sad?
lounge
Tired.
doesn't have to look like that.
We'll see if... Oh, that's a teacher. Huh. Apparently we're running our staff ragged. Oh no, I wanted the booklet. There you go. So I remember in 2 Point Hospital, there were a couple of missions where like there were little bugs that you needed to zap. I do find the bookworms a little more interesting than that one, although, I don't know, I sometimes feel like there's a little bit more that you can do than just have, like, you know, hunt the colored pixel and click on it. But I don't mind it, so. Virtual normality bookcase required. Okay, so that's one for the library.
But who
In
would do
this
such a
case-
thing? Who would stoop to the lowly heights
Okay.
populated
I was gonna get
only
rid of
by
a
reprobates
book
and
stack,
trifle
but
thieves?
We don't
To the
need to.
kitchen.
Indeed. The
Oh,
trifle
memento
was
marbles.
gone
Okay.
without so much as a trace. However,
Hmm.
in its place was a single white glove.
Why? A glove? The fiend must have removed it in the excitement. What good is a glove, dear Blanbury? A glove is no pudding. Ah, but it may yet lead us to pudding. Fetch the hounds.
It's starting to get a little crowded
Janitor
here.
required in bathroom. Library books are for everyone. Please stop reading.
I think that'll be the last of the... So normally what I've done here is I've added janitors in response to like messages saying, hey, we need one in this region. I think I'm going to stop doing that after that one. But again, we had a big influx of students, so in that case I'm also not, like, I don't feel too bad about swelling the head count, but in this case I'll leave it. Leo Fool, hey, we got another goth. Oh, I'd love something nice from a cart, a kiosk, or even a cart kiosk. All right, so veggies.
Announcement. Everybody healthy night. I came up with that. Students are reminded that virtual reality is more virtual
Kind of ignored this
than
field, but
reality.
I'll work with what I've got. But yeah, this soundtrack in particular, it's one of these ones, again, like I said, it makes me sort of think of stuff that stuff that I really liked. I liked being in classes, I liked studying stuff, reading, and again, just kind of the lighthearted approach to the game, and then just this really upbeat soundtrack. Just overall, as a full package, I think it really works for me. And it's funny because I was thinking a bit about, we were talking about RimWorld. Student needs an Atom poster for an assignment. All right, fair enough.
Janitor required in bathroom. The staff room is for staff. It's their room.
Again, I'm kind of going overboard with it, but... but yeah, so RimWorld obviously is a very different kind of tone. No, I mean, this is also a very different game from RimWorld. Obviously this is more like The Sims, so there's
They
this...
followed the jolly hounds through
Let's
the
listen to
grounds, the crunch of the gravel building to a crescendo of narrative tension. And then to grass and sight of the lake and the old willow, where, sitting against the weeping tree, they found the gloveless culprit. None other than Foggleton, the butler.
Oh, Foggleton, how could you? I'm fired, aren't I? I should think so, yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. This is like I'd say one part Sims, one part sort of some of the different business Sims that you'd see. You could do, a dungeon keeper. Obviously, Theme Hospital is one we talked about before. There's a few different games that you would kind of compare this to, but it's also fair to say that RimWorld is also a type of simulation. But in this case here, like, the fantasy is quite different. It's one where you are... I mean, they do draw your attention to some of the fiction and the settings. There is a setting for it, and there is actually quite a bit of writing to tell you about the world that RimWorld takes place on. And clearly they've been expanding on it. Like, there's 3 DLC now, and it's not like the DLC are completely... Like, they don't come out of the blue. There is sort of a central idea behind most of the stuff that gets added to that game. But as you might expect from the thing called RimWorld, right? Science fiction sort of implies something of a survival or a more hostile environment. There's just a very different kind of tone that applies. It's also fair to say that the simulation is considerably more complex, and so generally what you tend to find for games like this is a really interesting thing that they did with Civilization and its art style. And I could be wrong in terms of this just being a general tendency in games, but one thing that's interesting is that the more complicated the game is, actually the visual style, I think the FAQ specifically points out that it was not, like, so there's no relationship between, is it Introversion? I think Introversion were the original people who did Prison Architect. There's an interview with them, actually, a really good one, on Soren Johnson's designer notes. So Soren and Layla Johnson interview Introversion Software, who've got a new game coming out. I don't believe the early access has started yet, but it should be coming up reasonably soon. But
Aha! As they say, the butler did it. It just goes to show you never can trust the help. Well, that's another masterpiece in the collection. But how do I do it? Really, it's a deliciously delicate balance of extreme talent and profound humility. Join me again tomorrow for more criminally underrated radio. Ta-ta!
Sorry, just sending a quick text. One of the things, I don't know if this is a general truth or just something that's come up with a lot of games that I play. There was an interesting choice made about the art direction for Civ 6. And I think Civ 6 is a beautiful looking game. But what did interest me was that I was a little, I don't want to say off-put by the leaders, but I thought that the leaders definitely had a very different look than I was expecting. And it was explained, it might even be in the companion book if you bought the plastic crap edition of the game. I always feel bad calling stuff like that the plastic crap edition, but it is what it is, right? Like, the physical editions of games usually come with a bunch of plastic stuff to collect dust in your apartment. But they were talking about how for Civilization 6, because Civilization is a complex game, and this is funny, right? Because I don't necessarily see Civilization as one of the more complicated games that I play, and yet a number of my friends do call it. They consider Civilization to be like a quote-unquote system shock game, like one that only people who are really into very complicated strategy games would be into, which I think is a shame because obviously I wish more people would play Civ. But they explained how the art style for Civ 6 was deliberately a bit more cartoonish because what they wanted was something to be a bit simpler and a bit more approachable, because they sort of already knew that the game itself had a fairly high degree of complexity, at least compared to some of the other things people could potentially be playing. And you can almost sort of see that applying for a Prison Architect or a RimWorld. Now, the reality of the situation is those are also made by smaller teams, and so it's also fair to say that chances are they want a simpler art style because it's much more manageable. Whereas 2 Point Campus, I'm not 100% sure how large 2 Point Studios is, but this is published by Sega. Both in the case of Prison Architect and RimWorld, both of those are games that are sort of self-published. Now Paradox owns Prison Architect, but that wasn't always true. Excuse me. I have always wondered if there's a specific choice that people make for simplified visuals to kind of help the onboarding of a complex game. And then you go to the other extreme of Dwarf Fortress, which is that, as far as they're concerned, the better use of the processing power isn't on rendering the game, it's on simulating everything. But I'm pretty sure for most games that I'm going to be playing of this variety, they probably have enough for both. Compared to similar games you played on stream, Civ is so simple and easy. Yeah, well, that's the one for me. I think that, so if I think of the sort of stuff that I struggle with in terms of understanding, games like Command Modern Operations and Shadow Empires are certainly ones where I feel I'm, I need to do the homework to really make those work. But certainly Civilization I feel is quite approachable. But I also understand people so if you play Wolfenstein all the time, Wolfenstein's great. But if you're used to playing a lot of Wolfenstein or Destiny or something like that, and then you sit down with a session of Civ, it doesn't matter how much I tell you it's a wonderful game. There's gonna be some learning that you need to do. So I suspect that's probably what they're talking about. Well, I'm sure the Kit Fox published version is going to be the one that you'll like, Aldrins. That's also just a nice little chance for me to sell the book. Sell the Kit Fox version. All right, so had to be done. I needed space for signography collection.
Is a good time to relax and prepare for next year.
All right, the academic year is over and the results are here. The end of year ceremony will commence shortly. Let's see how we did for year 2. We can all go to overview, but it's nice to sort of unpack all of this stuff. Okay, 100% pass rate, 90% on exam results. So academic excellence, Freshly Meadows 2 points. Campus of the Year Award, Freshly Meadows 2 points, 83%. Room attractiveness 5, average room prestige of 5. This is going to get really crowded next year, I suspect. We are not guaranteed to always win that, by the way.
No unauthorized panicking.
And Winged Serpent wanted, Wolfric Half Moon. You're asking for a lot here, Wolfric. What do I get out of this? I request this article of the night with which to strengthen the moon's power. Oh, please, I think it would be lovely.
The academic year is now over. Janitor required in
Okay,
student
the
lounge.
Winged Serpent belongs outside.
You can't work in the student lounge. It's just not possible.
All right, let's manage our courses. So our goal here is to upgrade a course to level 4. So let's just take a look here. I don't think we can improve the learning rate by lowering the fees anymore. Now, one thing I would say, it's maybe we want to lower the rate at which we get new students. But in this case, we can still expand. The campus. So we're just gonna stick with this.
For students, with students, and so on. We've got a fantastic show coming up for you today. Some of you might not like it, but that's really on you. Quality grassroots radio coming right up.
I'm also just going to see if there's a difference tuition fees wise. So we can actually make a bit more money with Scientography. So let's spend the time upgrading that one. not much else I can do with these. And can I add a new course? No, none available. Yeah, so I think we'll spend all the points on Scientography to bring it up to level 3, and then we try to expand. Okay, so I'm gonna need 2 new science labs, another VR lab, 3 more Scientography teachers, 2 more virtual normality teachers, and another lecture theater. So let's go. Let's just see if I can just straight up copy and then drop these. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. We'll grab one of these.
Janitor required in bathroom. If virtual reality makes you feel nauseous, can I recommend actual reality?
I don't want to spend too much time rearranging this stuff, but there's some obvious changes to make. Okay, so that covers me for one lab. I'm going to need another. Actually, one thing we can do is buy this other plot. Now, is there a way I can sneak in a... Okay, here's how I think I'm going to handle this. So we'll grab the door.
Showering is technically but not socially optional. If you hear this, please drink some water. Thank you.
Okay, here's what I'll do. Stick this one here. Move these over to this side. Okay, now I gotta find all that stuff to replace. That was not the right call.
It feels like every day we're talking about Jasmine Odyssey. Some of you must think I actually really like her approachable brand of toe-tapping pop music. Good one, guys. Though, I must
Oh god,
say,
okay, no, it totally didn't reset some of those. So what I'm trying to do here is free up some space along this end. So I can move the door, and then basically we can just sort of annex this for like a lecture theater or something. Okay, so we'll get a couch in here again. Yeah, we'll just live with that. Oh, right, hand sanitizer. That was what I was looking for. Okay, so same story here. No. Okay. So I get to duplicate this. Oh, like a glove. So we don't have bathrooms in this building, but I think I can live with that. So maybe I'll stick down a couple benches and call it for this side. Sorry, I should get...
She has a really interesting record from the early days of her career. that went by the name of Dung Beetle Jamboree. Sure, you've probably never heard of it, but it's worth your time if you're willing to find the rare and badly produced demos online. It's raw, it's unconventional, and I think criminally underrated.
So we need another science lab before...
Despite the rumours, the campus grounds are not a toilet. Student housing should be character building, not pleasant. The campus is expanding.
Those are good traits.
Even more than usual.
Incidentally, I do get the option of... Ooh. I thought that was Kudosh, but if that's course points, we might be able to do even better. Okay. I'm definitely going to need to add more bathrooms and showers and all of that in the next building here. But first thing I need to do is take care of the science lab and VR lab, so let's get those built. I'm even willing to just sort of phone it in on these for the 5 out of 5.
If you don't know where your class is it really worth going?
I think I'm going to need a little more. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cram all this stuff I normally want to in here, but...
Students eating rubbish
Close.
are reminded that you are what you eat. Students are reminded not to walk and read.
Okay, I can work with that. Okay, so let's see if we can put down a VR lab without blocking the door. It's gonna be a 5x4. Ooh, that's close. I think what I'll do, I'll just make a bit of a weird shape.
Janitor required in student
Ooh,
lab.
that looks kind of nice, actually.
Frequently asked questions. No, I wasn't listening.
It's time for a book review. Here's Maggie on a recently released biography of Jasmine Odyssey. Ha, this should be good.
I have absolutely no luck with trash cans.
This week, I've been reading Jasmine My Odyssey by Jasmine Odyssey. It's
Okay.
just amazing. For those of us that feel like we've known who she is for, well, ages, really. Just to hear all about what that's like from her and those talented ghostwriters.
It doesn't matter how desperate you are. No urinating on campus facilities. Warning. Don't touch anything in the bathroom.
All right.
Anything.
So the rest of this is really about getting the amenities for the students. That's going to be that's going to be the where. That's going to be where the rest of the building goes in. But I think it's a tough call. There's a side of me that says maybe just let the the complaints come in. I don't know. Let's do... Okay, so student lounge, bathroom, shower, dormitory. Okay, that can work. What's the invalid item? Sure.
Janitor required in bathroom.
I feel like the bathroom's pretty
If you
manageable
don't
too.
like the staff room,
Oh, yeah, that fits
try getting back
perfectly.
to work.
Okay. This is looking promising, actually. So we'll add the shower facilities. That's a little more complicated to make fit, but we can make them smaller too. Well, I mean, if we're gonna do that, I might as well just properly build it out. Okay, so I'll grab one of those there. Delightful!
Students eating rubbish are reminded that you are what you eat. Students using the BR lab should take regular breaks.
Okay, so it doesn't have a plant in it, but... Okay, so the rest of this, I think I'm going to dedicate to dorms? I may need a bigger staff room, but... Wow, that's really not a lot of space.
At Milkmaid, we use real dairy-style ingredients in our milkshakes for a level of consistency that just isn't natural. Meaning that every glass of Milkmaid is eerily similar to the last.
Wow!
Milkmaid. Now that's good milk. Not technically milk.
Students are reminded that you don't have to ask to go to the toilet. No livestock in the student lounge. Thank you.
It's definitely cramped and unpleasant, but... Yeah, can't quite make that work. I mean, I can put it sort of in the middle of the room, but that feels a little weird, so... I think I'm just going to accept I can only fit 4... Well, I guess one thing I could do is just put a bed in the middle. But no, I think I'm going to live
Janitor
with...
required in student lounge. Maintenance announcement. Plants need water. Remember?
Yeah, I think we'll live with that. Okay, I think we're ready to start the... I think we're ready to start the academic year. I might add a couple benches, but otherwise we're good to go. Ah, 35 course points. If we can get that campus level up just a little bit higher. Okay. So there's definitely some stuff that I can spend on to improve this. I don't want to spend anything that takes kudosh, but I figure some extra vending machines are a
Your body's
start.
a temple, and you wouldn't fill a temple with crisps. The library is not your home, nor your home a library.
okay. Again, I don't want to spend kudosh. Oh hey, we can put some arcade machines down. I feel like we could probably do better with some posters too, so... Although I don't know how that's overall... Oh wow, we have a lot to... we definitely have a lot to do if we want to upgrade that. Okay, so let's consider maybe upgrading some of the lower level prestige rooms. So we've got
Sleep is important, but you can
5s
do
and
it
8s. Okay, let's see what we can add to the bathroom to make that a little bit fancier. Well, we could just put royal flush toilets in. Probably not the right way to go about that, though. Well, we could add more plants, but that doesn't really solve the problem, does it?
I love meat, and I love wizards. But does that mean that I love the video game franchise Meat Wizard? Not necessarily. There's just something
Okay,
so
that brought us up to level
complex about
5.
modern
I'll
games,
settle it.
and it doesn't sit right with me. They just can't compare to the charm and focus of vintage games like CJ Spotter, the fire-breathing otter, where you only had 2 actions, jump and sneeze. For me, it's still the pinnacle of sneezing in games.
Students are reminded that you don't have to ask to go to the toilet. This is a test announcement, not a real announcement.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring this up to level 4. I can get close, but... Still, it's an improvement. I also just don't feel like that's really moving the needle as far as our... I guess the other thing would be to get another... get another library in place. I think the reality, though, is I should probably give up on this hope that I'm going to see the campus level move up meaningfully.
Janitor required in bathroom. Frequently asked questions. Yes, your leather jacket does look nice.
I bet if we had a plant, this one goes up to 5. 3? We can definitely do better than 3. I feel like we've already added the devices that we want, so...
Students eating rubbish are reminded that you are what you eat. The administrator is reminded to stay hydrated.
Okay. I can always add more paraphernalia. We don't exactly have a lot of room for it, though, so... Maybe more posters is what the doctor ordered. Okay, so I mean, it obviously didn't hurt, but I do think we're sort of at the limit in terms of what I can gain. One thing I am going to do, though, is mess around a little bit with... I am going to mess around a bit with... Actually, hang on.
Janitor
Exactly
needed
moving the
in
needle.
dormitory. This is an academic
Oh.
institution. Our bathrooms are co-educational.
not terrible. Okay, so one thing I haven't really looked at is the staff. So one thing I'm not entirely clear about when I'm looking at the... So I know there was a way of... Huh. Okay, interesting. So... Okay, I was thinking that I could improve the staff, like just pay the staff a little bit more and eke out some more performance, but
To go to the toilet.
that doesn't seem to be the case.
Please stay awake in the staff room. No dozing.
So, one other thing I can do is... Okay, so it's all level 1 teachers, so not much to look at here. We do have a better librarian. So now I've got too many assistants. I've definitely got some cuts I can make there. But I am going to hire a few more janitors because we did just do a big expansion. Nice. All right. So this got me what I was looking for. So, as long as we have 10 graduates, we can say
It's
get
not
lost
another
at the
year,
end.
It's just another year.
Now, if we don't graduate people this year, then I'm in deep trouble, but I'm a little curious to see what the bill looks like.
The sound of 2 Point County on 2 Point Radio. You're listening to 2 Point Radio, the place your ears call home. We've got a barnstorming show for you today, but before we kick down the door and go straight for the valuables, soak in some sonic excellence. Play that track, and we'll be right back.
So if I need, I can expand out this
You
way, and I can
students,
also
we're
expand
more
out
afraid of
into
you
these.
than you are of us. Janitor required in bathroom. Students using the VR lab should take regular breaks.
A little worried about this, but let's see how we'll see how it moves over time. It's definitely a lot more litter on the ground than I was hoping to see. Oh God, look at them! There's so many! Oh, we've got a posh one. Amelia Doom. Throws money at things that they like. They may even make a donation if they're doing well. There's more where that came from. We need more of those. Okay, let's think about how in the world am I out of assistance?
Students are reminded that you
Library, the centerpiece of an all out-of-class studying. The library is where books live. Knowledge flows through the books into campus and eventually our students' brains. Research specialist bookcases to provide the finest, most relevant materials to all of our students. I am very happy to get the rewards for that.
should bring enough for everyone.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to worry too much about expansion unless there's like an emergency. Oh wow, we're doing all right as far as the money. I definitely thought we were going to be worse off. And we need a cell poster in the science lab. I can definitely work with that. I'll make sure that I add them in all the science labs. Really
Janitor
bring the room
required in
together.
bathroom.
Yeah, so I'm surprised we're making money, especially given the staff that we've got. But I'm actually pretty happy with that. Now I'm a little weirded out
Students are
about
reminded
the
not to breathe in the library.
the capacity for the student lounges, given that we've got a third. I'm gonna guess this is probably related to, proximity and where everybody's based. I suppose in the grand scheme of things, I could have pulled back a little bit on the science lab, and we would have just moved the lecture theater in closer and could have expanded out here. I don't think I want to mess around with
In
this
the news today,
now, though.
I seem to have sat on something sharp. We're not sure exactly what it is or what the consequences might be, but we'll update you as
Missed this
soon as
one.
we know more. Can
Hey, get back here.
Look at that. Is it in me?
Oh.
Tell me it's not in me.
Yeah, so it looks like 2 of the 3 student lounges are going to be full for the next little while.
I came up with that.
Wow.
Announcement.
I mean, it makes sense. We probably only have room for like 27 students in these things. Yeah. So I could make like a dedicated student lounge building, I suppose. Oh wow, look at that bonus. All right, let's see if we can get the names for these different, or descriptions of these. So the science lab is used by a wide range of courses, including scientography, upgrade the science hub, and further train teachers in course-specific qualifications to boost learning rates. Add plenty of equipment for students to use on their assignments, as well as for high room prestige to keep students happy and learning faster. The VR lab is used by a wide range of courses, including virtual normality. Upgrade the VR platform and further train teachers in course-specific qualifications to boost learning rates. Add plenty of equipment for students to use on their assignments, as well as for high room prestige to keep students happy and learning faster.
Students are reminded not to walk and read.
They keep saying that, but I always, I always walk and read. It's one of my few pleasures in life. Gotcha. All right. The student lounge is the perfect place for students to kick back, relax, and pretend they don't have work to do. A group of prospective students are interested in virtual normality and are hoping to visit the campus. Go nuts. The student lounge can host student lounge party events, perfect for boosting student entertainment and happiness. Book an event using the room inspector. Promote the development of student friendships and romances by adding relationship items.
It doesn't matter how desperate you are.
If I didn't have relationships in university, nobody's having relationships in universities. Students sleep in a bed to regain energy when they're tired. Students will be assigned to... So that seemed just to be me, I guess,
Starting. Please
people
take a
learning?
seat.
Anyway, students sleep in a bed and regain energy when they're tired. Students will be assigned to a dormitory automatically when they arrive on campus. Beds require maintenance by a janitor. I have no idea what that alert was. Crazy taxi machine wanted, but we don't have the kudosh for that, so I'm going to reject it. There was definitely an achievement that I got.
Wouldn't you know, I'd sat on a sprig of holly from yesterday's lunch. That's the risk you run when adding a little pizzazz to your meal. But that won't stop me. It's not the first piece of holly I've sat
Hey,
on,
MC.
and it certainly won't be the last.
Janitor needed in dormitory. No livestock in the student lounge. Thank you.
So we're teetering on the edge of the A+. I really hope that we can, like, close out some of these students on A+, but... is this it? Okay, so scientography, a multidisciplinary field that uses a range of technology to answer the biggest questions of today, like what is that blue? Does it melt? And how long is a piece of string? So 100 scientography students, there we go. Get up to 1,000, up to, okay. Earn Kudosh by completing objectives, challenges, and career goals. Just like this one, use Kudosh to unlock new items, staff outfits, or room customization options. Remember, it's not actual money, so spend it with carefree frivolity and reckless abandon. We need about 16 more students to move in. But yeah, it's obviously it was one of those that we just got, so.
Announcement. Healthy body, healthy mind.
Of course, we already rejected the request for the crazy taxi machine, so.
If you aren't, who else will?
I was reading descriptions for buildings. These seem to actually be more practical rather than humorous. Students will be assigned to a dormitory automatically when they arrive on campus. Okay, guess we're hiring more janitors after all. So, one speedy one. One's good at maintenance. I will get to the end of this description if it kills me. Beds require maintenance by a janitor to stay reasonably pleasant. The higher a dormitory's room prestige, the more beds you can provide per student, the higher its accommodation rating, and the more money you will receive from rent. Microscope required. Oh god, how are we going to fit that? Jesus. Okay.
Janitor required in lecture theatre. If you don't like the staff room, try getting back to work.
I do like the staff room announcement. It's obviously not the first time they've said that, but... Okay, so we're really just waiting on graduation here. As long as we don't go bankrupt or something, we'll be fine. The open day was a great success. Those students will now think of us as an important part of their future for better or worse. Table football wanted. 100 kudosh for... Oh, I'm going to reject that because I feel like there's a danger that we're going to have students who want to accomplish certain things and... Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna want that kudosh for other things.
It doesn't matter how desperate you are. No urinating on campus
I like this campus.
facilities.
Not enough libraries, but it's tempting for the ramen kiosk.
Hi,
Okay, I will do
I'm
the
Ricky
ramen
Hawthorne.
kiosk.
I don't remember being a student, but I'm sure it happened. People ask me all the time, Ricky, what would you eat if you were a student?
It's because I can
And
make
say,
money off of these.
anything from the Crumley student range. It's cheap, it's inexpensive, and above all else, it's affordable. Just like Mama used to make.
You would have better grades if you weren't so stupid.
Anyways, yeah, it's a little different from what I was expecting. Definitely the library should be a bigger feature, but
Janitor
I'm pretty
needed
happy
in
with
the
this.
dormitory.
So one of the things that's kind of neat about this game, and I regret spending so much time on this first little bit, although I still think this is a very enjoyable game even in the early stages. One of the things you can eventually do is sort of set up parties and such. Neon guitar. This is pretty cool, I guess. All right, we are definitely getting a neon guitar.
Our lab should take regular breaks. Your body is a temple, and you wouldn't fill a temple with crisps.
I guess we can put one inside as well. Okay, still turning a profit. Oh, obviously we're spending a lot of it, so we are getting close to the end of our free cash, but... Now the real problem is if we have to do another year,
No, I've not seen your frog.
and I have no idea what we're gonna do with the influx of students. We may just have to like turn them down if we have to
Janitor
expand.
required in bathroom.
I forgot I wanted to put down some more garbage cans. But yeah, one of the things, so again, particularly like songs like this, and just kind of seeing everybody running around, and especially when the stuff's going well, like, so when you're seeing like the high levels for the,
2 Point
for
Radio, the station that
the
puts the stabilizers on the bike of your day.
like
It's
the,
Ricky Hawthorne.
the high levels
Time
for
is-
the studies and all of that. Like,
They told
again, this is
every
the sort of stuff
putting
that puts
sundials
a
in the
smile on my
booth.
face.
There aren't even any windows, they
Um,
said. Oh, how we laughed. More timeless radio after this silky little number.
The library is not your home, nor your home a library. Despite the rumours, the campus grounds are not a toilet.
I had an idea for this, but I know it's not gonna work. I wanted to have like a dark throne and then have these be like pews. Nope. Another career goal. Alright, more Janners it is. Tex Mountain!
Sleep is important, but you can do it later. Janitor needed in science lab.
So again, we're getting a little scary as far as the money, and then it looks like academics have suffered a little bit, but we'll see if it carries through. Generally, the average has been brought up over time, and we are doing a good job satisfying needs, so... We'll see how it goes. So one thing that I didn't realize from playing this before
There's a
is
class starting on campus.
as the
Try that.
as the campaign level goes up,
Students eating rubbish are reminded that you are what you eat.
I didn't realize that you got extra course points the more your campus level goes up. So that's going to be something that I sort of want to work on for future efforts. Making money isn't our core objective as a campus, but it is our core objective as a business. Be smart with money and run a financially successful campus that brings in more money than it's spending on facilities, staff wages, and events. Sure, money isn't everything, but I forget the rest. And encourage your students to socialize by hosting events, providing social spaces, and placing relationship
Chef Ricky
items.
here, bringing you a morsel of the day. We all like a boiled egg, but wouldn't you love one on the go? Just imagine you're stuck in traffic and bang, a boiled egg just for you. You see, eggs have a casing or shell that's perfect for keeping the eggs safe. Why, I've got 2 boiled eggs in my pocket right now. Give it a try.
Every student deserves a witness to the highs and lows of their time on campus, because no one remembers your most embarrassing moments quite like a close friend.
Attention.
So
Your finger is not a toothbrush.
I am wondering if my feeling about the rarity of Kudosh is just not paying attention to the career goals. All right, we did lose money that month. So I am going to speed things up on this side just because I'm trying to see whether or not we graduate. I know there's a couple courses that are just a 3-year affair, but I don't know if that's Scientography. If Scientography's 4 years, then we're gonna have to kind of hang on for dear life for another another term. But yeah, so in addition to there being some other oh, no. Okay, I'm not going to reject it, but...
Required in bathroom. Students are reminded that the student
Wait, that
lounge
doesn't make sense. We've got
has
101
like
kudosh. Oh, but we don't have the cash for it. Okay, so 55 days. We're almost at the end of the month. Okay, that one's definitely not happening.
Your body is a temple.
Yeah, we definitely
Fill a
lost money on
temple
that.
with crisps.
But we can borrow money. Of course it's this one. All right, I'm going to have to completely reorganize it. Now I've gone and done it. I could have sworn I would have been able to get that in the corner. Good God. Okay. Well, this is a mess. Okay, looks like a bit of a hazard, but I'll live with it. It is financially reckless to put more than one of these things down, but...
I've just eaten a pocket egg. How are you? I must remember to boil another batch and take them to my next book club meeting. Yes, I've been in a book club since I was a boy, and this is my 5th attempt at The Salty Minstrel, one of the county's first books. I really do struggle with the old language. In fact, I think the only words that are the same are salty and minstrel. You'd think it was enough, but it's not.
Contrary to popular belief, love is very rarely found at first sight. In fact, many of the county's relationships are the product of a lengthy and strenuous screening process. Promote student romance by placing relationship items and leaving them to it.
Students are reminded that you don't have to
grades
ask
are where they
them
need to
go
be.
the toilet. The staff room is for staff. It's their room.
I am curious whether or not we're going to whether or not we're going to make enough money. Not even close. So, I think we need to start taking a look at our staffing needs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6 for the library. Anything extra, I think we need to start kicking out some... Yeah, wow, we have got a pretty overstaffed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so here's what I think I'm going to do. We'll keep 2 librarians. Are you sure you want to fire Lillian Broccoli? This is actually the 4th or 5th worst thing to happen to me today. Or 6 maybe? It's been pretty shocking. Anyway, it can only get better from here. Fingers crossed. I just wish you'd waited until I finished my lunch. Cheesy gubbins are my favorite, and now they'll smell like the vile stench of failure. Cheesy failure. Okay. I know you must have been fine before I joined, and maybe I'm biased, but I just can't see how you'll manage without me. So I feel like this is kind of where I want it. I've kind of got enough people for the kiosks. I've got a spare librarian. I don't know if I... Okay, this is interesting. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 janitors looking for work. I really thought that I was getting the hang of this. Oh well, wrong again, I suppose. Try and give him, like, good severance packages or something. If I lose this job, I'll have to sell my mattress and cancel my subscription to Bungle Pictures. I'm gonna miss being well rested and entertained. Jesus. I know my methods might seem unconventional to some, but sorry, I forgot where I was going with that. Okay, I think that should help with the staffing at least.
For the question of the week, we asked, which instrument is the funniest? We had some great replies, including quite a few we can't read on air. You're a vocal lot, you really are. Knock knock. Who's there? The answer. The answer who? The answer is... the trombone! Now that is funny. I'll be laughing until next time. Fare thee good and fare thee well. Good night.
Janitor required in bathroom. Class is starting. Please take a seat.
Crescent bench. So that's a 25 kudosh. I think we can work with it. Did you know that some students sit around all day? It's true. May I suggest then additional seating options? Thank you for your time. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll put this around the... Hey, we're turning a profit again. Put that around the whale. I still feel bad about firing people.
Despite the rudeness, the campus grounds are not a toilet.
The open day was a great success. Those students now think of us as an important part of their future, for better or for worse.
Please be quiet silently. Thank you.
So I'm gonna want to pay off that loan as soon as I can. Car booth. Yeah, why not? Not exactly shooting the lights out as far as profit, but we did still turn a profit. That's the important part. And we're getting close to the end of the year. Although I think we'll be finishing with an A rather than an A+. Well, I could have cut everybody's salaries too, but VR projector, that's not happening.
It's almost the end of the academic year, in case you hadn't noticed.
So that'll probably have consequences as far as the overall grade, which is a shame. But I don't think there's an easy way for me to get Kudosh. This is why I generally reject the frivolous requests. Like, if I didn't put that car in, for instance, I would have been able to get the Kudosh I needed. As it is, I'm pretty far behind. Oh! We did it! Fresh Limelos, and quite an accomplishment too. If this were anywhere but 2 Point County, perhaps we wouldn't celebrate people doing their jobs with quite this degree of vim and vigor, but here we are. Alright, I'm probably gonna have to wrap it up for tonight, but do you want me to run it through to the, oh wait, well, yeah, we can definitely do the ceremony.
In the student lounge.
The academic year is over. The results day is here. The end of year ceremony will commence shortly.
Was there anything we wanted to do?
10 students graduated, 74 continuing, 88% on the average exam results. Academic Excellence Award, so we got 10 Kudosh, which will allow us to let our student... Oh no, not 10. We need 100. 1% away from the A+. This is the one that drove me nuts when I was at school. King of Hearts, Freshly Meadows, 60 total student relationships. Campus of the Year Award, 85% average environment attractives. We moved up to 6 average room prestige. So, looking pretty good here. Nobody was expelled, nobody was failed, and no dropouts.
The academic year is now over.
Great work! Freshly Meadows now boasts a first-rate academic facility. Head to the map from the pause menu and decide where to next set up campus. Oh hey, we actually did get enough for the VR projector. So,
Interview results
we
are
might as well
now
let that.
available. No unauthorized panicking. Frequently asked questions. I believe that smell is you.
Oh, do we get to see them wearing the mortarboard
Should
hats?
be character building.
They
not
do!
pleasant.
Look at this lovely work that we've done. Look how happy they are. Every single one of them will be, hey, is this... It is Wolfric Half Moon. You are going to be the best darn barista, Wolfric. An A+ in Scientography. You're just gonna serve the best coffee. And you're gonna be able to explain why the French press works the way that it does. So, what we could do here, like we could keep upgrading on Scientography because it gives us the more money. We might want to improve virtual normality to try and bring it up. We got 55 course points to work with. What you may notice is that there are a set of campus requirements.
Students eating rubbish are reminded that you are what you eat.
The campus requirements here keep going up.
Try getting back to work.
And this is because, again, we've got, we just keep bringing in more and more students. So we're going to hit the limits of our dorm capacities. And in this case here, I wouldn't necessarily want to add another VR lab. So what I would probably do in this case here, I would take my courses. Now, again, virtual normality makes less in tuition for me. So what I would do here is I would sort of lower the student intake a bit. The other thing is the learning rate's kind of high, so I might even, boost the fees a little bit. But let's apply those changes and see what happens. Okay. So that, if anything, that made it worse.
Hi, I'm Maggie Watmore, remembering to breathe on campus radio. Are you ever reading or poaching an egg or something and you realise that you've not taken a breath in a while? Oh, I did it again. Let's all try and focus on our breathing during this next song.
So I'm just trying to get that VR number down.
Class is starting. Please take a seat.
Okay, so if I make that number 0, does that change anything? Wow. Huh. Okay, well. So I wish there was a slightly better way of working this out in terms of knowing what the
And we wouldn't fill a temple with crisps.
kind of knowing what the requirements were for the. Okay, here we go.
Bring enough for everyone.
So basically, I want to change the student intake to a level that I can take advantage of the existing facilities, but not need to build more. Okay, so the magic number is 16, and then what we can do here is we can soak them for a bit more intuition. Oh wow, that's as high as it's gonna go. Okay, well that's fine because we still have a high learning rate. So like this would be the way. This would be the way that I try and set. I try and set everything right. Now, the other thing is that as far as the current setup's concerned, it clearly makes more sense for me to upgrade Scientography. We'll also upgrade Virtual Normality.
Janitor required in
Oh,
bathroom.
clearly I blew that.
Students using the VR lab should take regular breaks.
Yeah. So almost $1 million in tuition fees. We're sort of hitting the cap of our the space for our facilities. But essentially, what this lets me do, the learning rate is still higher than 100%. And so in this case here, what I've been able to do is take the 10 students that are graduating. I've been able to fill up as many courses as I can, use the most of my existing facilities. And then in this case
If you're
here,
anything like me, you're wondering why everyone is talking about cheesy gubbins. Thankfully, Hugh has the story.
in this case, I basically put the extra points into Scientography because that's the cash cow
Yes,
right
the
now.
popular snack, cheesy gubbins, have brought campus life to a standstill.
So, as much as I like the banter, we're gonna exit to the map.
The Golden Gubbin promotion.
Piazza Lantera is now available. So what's kind of fun about the way that this game works, I did at least want to show what this map looks like. So I'm not quite sure if other games like Theme Hospital sort of had the different regions and all of that, but this one winds up being a culinary school. So serve award-winning food and help culinary students stomach the perils of fine dining. And there's actually some really fun little details that come up in this one. So it's a bit of a shame that I took so long to get, just kind of get everything sorted out. But this is a really, really charming game. And like I said, if I'm feeling a little gloomy, or if I just kind of need a bit of a reset in terms of some of the stuff that I've been doing, and I realized I did like Troy last time, so I've been messing around with the schedule a little bit. I just really like the fact that the game doesn't take itself too seriously. There's still like a solid management game behind it, right? So Sims are definitely, I was gonna say having a moment, but that moment has been around for a while. Like I think RimWorld's like 10 years old now. But I don't know, like there's just this game has a lot of charm to it, from the music to the subject. I just really like the idea about a game where you're building a university, and like, yeah, there's the business sim side to it. You do want to make sure that you're making more than you spend, but in the end, like everything that the game sets up for you is aligning your interests with with making the students do well, right? You get your bonus for making their XP go up and such. And again, like just to be able to see, there's all this stuff. I think I've only done this one and maybe one other. And at that point, they're still kind of teaching me all of the different little detail, or all of the different little mechanics that you can do as you get later on in the game. So there's actually quite a bit more that I personally still need to experience for this. But I don't know. I just really like the subject. I like the fact that it's very consistently positive. And I don't know. It just keeps me in mind in university. The one thing. So I love being able to go back to campus. Last year I got a chance to go back to Vancouver. I really liked being able to. I really like being able to go to the. Go back to the university to just wander the campus. I got to meet up with one of my old profs. I definitely went to the library, not just at the school, but at the Vancouver Public Library. It's just sort of one of those places where if you need a place to recharge, everybody's kind of got that, right? Like, so Starbucks talks about being the third place. I'm sure there's a couple of other places that talk to it as well, but I know if you've ever worked at Starbucks, they really hammer home the third place idea. By the way, the game is not normally this gloomy. This is Halloween theming. But I kind of feel like for people, there's different places. Like, again, for me, it definitely is like libraries and campuses and things like that. And I kind of feel like not necessarily for everyone it's going to be, going and wandering into a library or a bookstore or something. It might be that, you have a particular park that you enjoy. I definitely know in Vancouver I used to like walking along the seawall, for instance. But at least for me, one of the things I like the most about Two Point Campus is that it is aligned enough with a place that means a lot to me. The attitude is very positive. And again, like, I'm sure you all know, I like playing very serious and very, potentially dark games. But if I'm looking for something to just relax with, this is quickly kind of ratcheting up my my list of comfort games, let's say. But with that in mind, next week I really do want to try and make sure I'm on top of Terra Invicta. I'm happy that we got the quality options back. This Wednesday we'll be doing Industries of Titan with the new campaign mode. Friday has been a little bit of everything. I may head back to Imperium's Greek Wars. I feel like I probably should, but again, it depends on what mood takes me. And I guess we're going to be getting close to Halloween for that. Now, I don't normally do like horror games on Halloween. I kind of feel everyone's doing one of those, and I can do horror games whenever I want. But I don't know if you really want to see something like that. Yeah, it's the 28th on Friday, so... Oh, hang on! I almost broke an embargo today, actually. So there's something that comes out of embargo on the 28th. So I may actually wind up doing that instead of Imperium's. But either way, quite a bit of strategy coming up, whether it's campus management or my I don't know, my other unlisted things. So, anyways, I'm gonna go back to the main menu. Thank you everybody for watching. I do feel a little bit bad that my commentary wasn't a little bit more effective. It definitely feels like the chat quieted down pretty quickly, so I might have sort of just blown it for the game. But if you're still sticking around, I appreciate you doing that. And let's see if we can find someone to host. Oh, yeah. I had a big drop. Well, actually, there's someone who's doing retro gaming right now, who seems to be a decent sort. So, thank you, Tikri. I don't know, actually, maybe I could ask it to you. If I were to play this again, would anybody be interested in seeing this? Or should I, should I maybe just keep this as a comfort game for myself? I am going to host the Wolf Arok, who is currently doing apparently an Xbox port of Quake, which is a little surprising. But you like this kind of game? Well, I definitely know you like this kind of game, Kree. I just don't know if I do this kind of game well, because I feel like between Troy and 2 Point Campus, I've actually not done a very good job of explaining my actions. But, anyways. You like to watch him? Okay, fair. But yeah, the Wolf Arok is a pretty decent guy. He, I believe he mods for Outworld as well. And I often, like, bug him as a viewer, but I don't get a chance to raid him as often. So I figure he's a decent fellow to hold him on. I will mention that Valiant Cheese is doing Into the Breach. There's a couple of other streamers who I can host, but I feel like the Wolf Arok is somebody I've bugged enough to justify hosting. So I'm gonna get some rest. I'm really close to finishing a couple of books that I want to, but it is also midnight, and I have a sort of meeting tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping things will be looking up and work soon, but I also have a lot of videos to edit soon. Oh, and for those of you that didn't notice, new Cultist Simulator videos are coming up. I need to make a bit of runway for that, but I'm going to try and get on top of those, as well as record some other videos and edit some others. And I don't know. I'd like to just... I have a lot of work to do, but at least this is like me work rather than work. So I guess that makes me feel a little bit better. Anyways, enjoy the Wolf Arok. Sorry for all the babbling. I'll see you Wednesday for Industries of Titan, Friday for Something Mysterious, and next week we're back to Terra Invicta. Have a lovely evening. See you in the next one.